Doc, can you do a recap for us?
Yeah, I got my notes. All right, so as we were leaving Daggerford last week, a couple of events unfolded on our final trek to Waterdeep. Some of the previous wagons, we needed to find us some new parties to escort. Met up with Amalia, and Doc took some service with her. There were a couple of other wagons who joined and left the crew as well. Nothing of note, though. We did notice, however, that Tanis was acting a little strange, looking a little more under the weather than usual, so paid a little attention to his spider bite, but things unfolded as we continued. Uh, I got into a little bit of a tussle, or at least tried to, with some of the heroes of Greenest, so to speak. Attempted a little bit of a duel. Um, Unfortunately, Yuanan Hamid had no interest, and when I knocked him to the ground in a little playful scuffle, stole his gold pouch, and unknowingly he stole mine as well. So next thing you know, Tanis was attempting to rifle through some things looking for evidence. When we got into a little battle, unfortunately he was spotted and marked as a thief. Vicious fought a demon single-handedly, but proved to be a little more than she could bear. She did fall to the demon, and as it attempted to run away, or should I say fly away, we were able to fell it from the sky, saving Vicious from the clutches. The heroes of Greenest were nowhere to be found. They chose to flee at the first sign of danger, only reinforcing our suspicions that they were in fact frauds the entire time. Later on, Tanis's situation escalated a little further as he was then accused of murder. In the middle of the night, one of the wagon drivers was found dead, and unfortunately, the wounds matched that of a mace, which would lead one to believe that perhaps Tanis was the killer. Although we still were a little skeptical of his ability to do so or will to. Did step up and attempt to defend him, but unfortunately that just left the two of us excommunicated. A couple of bad rolls and some poor decisions, and the caravan disbanded. But this close to Waterdeep, we hope that we can at least make it into town as under the radar as possible, but more importantly, as a group and alive.
Anyone
Feel
else
free
have
to.
anyone else
Oh
have
yeah, I
any
was going to
thoughts
say.
on?
There was an situation where, in the situation where Tynus was being accused of murder, one of the up until then quiet members of the caravan, who we vaguely suspect might be involved with some cultish activity, stepped forward
Pause
and
one
in
moment
an
there. You suspect
Mhm.
every single person that I ever described in that caravan as part of the cult. So
You are
continue.
correct. Who Tynus vaguely suspects of cult activity, uh, was stepped forward and attempted to keep the peace, or seemingly did, and offered to clear Tynus of his bad reputation by delving into his mind. Tynus, being the paranoid man that he is, uh, chose instead to seek trial in his hometown of Waterdeep.
Like, you guys do recognize that I had 70 NPCs in that caravan because there were NPCs who were not cultists in that caravan, right?
Oh, assumedly, but
But again,
Tynus and
every
me as a
single
player, I
NPC that I
assume everyone.
described was a cultist. That is boring. That is not the truth. That is not how I will play this game.
It's how
So,
I'm going to act.
like, roughly how many cultists were there?
You guys put next to no effort into trying to figure out anything of that sort.
I put a lot of effort into that, just wrongly.
As far as
But yeah.
meta knowledge goes, approximately a half of the caravan was cultists.
Oh yeah, Tynus also met up with another one of the people of his order. Still never found my old note page on them, but yeah,
Do you remember
she
her
knew
name?
the code phrase. Well, hold on, flipping through the pages because I did write that one down.
And Doc, you can mark down at the top of your character sheet that you have inspiration. And I wanted to clarify because I said it incorrectly last time. Inspiration happens before the roll, so you basically get to choose a second die before you roll. It's not quite like rolling with advantage, but I think the only characters that it really determines a difference is on rogues. Like a rogue can't gain sneak attack because they use inspiration. But other than that, it's basically giving yourself advantage before you take the roll.
Oh yeah.
Her name was
And,
Gemna.
Yep. Gemna Gleamsilver.
Is that only for a D20?
Yeah, I think inspiration still functions under the only on a D20.
Okay.
You said her last name?
Gleamsilver. It's actually how
Gotcha.
she first introduced herself to you.
Yeah, I recorded her first name, but not the surname. But now I have it. And she is a Harper.
So we're going to pick back up with the caravans essentially split into two. You all would remain with a few of your drivers, Vicious and Doc being abandoned by the most recent drivers that they're working for. A few of the recognizable people that you all would still remain with end up being the bank merchant that Hadar is traveling with, Zuska. Oin Evanmore remains behind. Green Imsa with Arlyle. Cynthia. Neoar. And Lasfelro the Silent. The rest of the caravan leaves a little bit ahead of you all, about a day earlier. Or not really a day earlier, but like kind of bright and early in the day. So as you all prepare yourselves, packing up everything, as the other wagon train is essentially skirting out of this last camp, what sort of thoughts do you all have as you prepare to leave?
Tynus is tied up, and he's not going to do anything because he's tied up.
Yeah, that's not gonna last long. Doc will approach Tynus and cut him free.
There's not really anybody remaining in this camp who's really worried about Tynus. That's part of why they left you all.
Tynus will stand up. Thank you. That was unfortunate.
No worries, friend. I wasn't gonna let them take you into a big city like this and turn you in. This way, at least if we travel in separately, it's their word against ours. We were too close to losing Vicious to take any chances with you as well.
I do appreciate that, and I'm sorry for my odd behavior as of late. I know that may have cast some doubt on me, but I am still acting in the interests of our cause. I can assure you of that.
Oh, good, because I was confused.
Yes, that's understandable. I've been keeping a lot of things to myself, hoping to maintain the charade, but at this point, the only people left with us were already aware of it was a charade anyway.
Yes, no worries, Tynus. If I thought we weren't friends, I just don't think I could bear it.
That's true. And I'm sorry for my curt behavior earlier, Vicious. We are definitely still friends. I was just maybe overacting in that case.
So I guess if we don't have anything in particular, I guess we're ready to just move out. So did we get a long rest then at the end of last session? Is that what was going on?
Yeah, you should be starting this with a long rest. After a long rest.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I feel like the time might be a little bit wibbly wobbly. That might have started off with the morning, and that's when everything kind of boiled over. So maybe it's more proper to say that that caravan left right away, while you all would still have like kind of preparation to go shortly after having tied up Tynus. But once they leave, that's when this would kind of pick up. So maybe it's not bright and early in the morning, and it's a little closer to say like 10 or 11, like letting them gain some distance on you so you can basically free Tynus. I think that actually matches up a little more properly. I kind of like forgot the exact chain of events and how it ended.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. So they got ahead of us. They basically got several hours ahead of us while we stayed behind to get Tynus out of his bondage and get everything else sort of sorted out amongst us. I think at this point, Tynus will take the time to explain to the others what exactly this bite on his neck is, as best as he understands it.
What is it?
I've entered in some form of agreement with what I can only assume is a fiend of some kind. They are sharing my body, and that would be why my complexion is so sickly. And it is thanks to them that I was able to even join you all in Daggerford, as I was captured by the cult. Well, and the guard, but both simultaneously.
I'm not one to judge. You can worship whatever deity you please and make decisions, of course, of your own. But what exactly were you doing when you were captured that led you to enter into this pact, if I may ask?
Simply put, I was captured and taken to the prison, and I had no way out aside from giving in to whatever deal I may have made, or the deal I am very aware I've made. And he will sort of recap the events as he saw them from. Wait, no, that was a dream, so they have no idea about any of that. So skip over dream stuff. He will recap the events of his escape from the Daggerford prison, including the fact that he had to kill several guards to get out.
You would have also
I
fed on
understand
them.
having.
You
Yeah,
share
that too.
that you drank their blood.
He will share that information as well. He's being fully transparent right now.
Well, I understand having to kill people if they get in your way, but drinking their blood seems kind of odd for a human.
I don't believe I am entirely human anymore, if at all, but the blood was by far the most sustaining thing I have had in quite a while.
Yeah, that's all right. You're not all human. You're still a nice person, though.
I will try to be.
Well, I'm not here to judge, Tynus, but I was starting to wonder if you were even going to make it. You, you look like somebody just walked over your grave.
Well, and he will consider making a joke about Doc's own health and then shake his head. No, that would be in poor taste. To say someone has walked over my grave may be more accurate than we can expect. However, I don't know the true nature of this affliction. My attempts in Daggerford were partially to find that out, and unfortunately, I attempted to speak to my previous order and was promptly kicked out for obvious reasons. Oh,
You
this
would
would
also
probably.
remember in that you got kicked out for mentioning the vampirism, not for being a member of the order. It was specifically that they were afraid of you.
Yeah. Definitely going to explain that. Also, he's going to mention meeting Gemna and confirming that she is a Harper.
And you all would recognize at that point that Solomon and Gemna are two of those who actually left with the other caravan.
And I don't remember. What was the Harper thing again?
The Harpers and the Gauntlet are the orders that we have confirmed are working together against the cult that several of our group have joined. Tynus and I believe. Wait, no. Well, I guess technically they're not here anymore, but
I think I've got I think Hate or Tynus and Vicious are the Harpers.
Okay, yeah. That was the group you guys joined when I joined the Gauntlet. I got you.
did Arlisle join the Gauntlet? The Gauntlet. Actually, he hasn't been here in several weeks, so it might not be
The two
relevant
of
anymore.
them, Hadar and Arlisle, had a chance, but the two of them were just kind of sitting back doing nothing when they kind of rejoined in Elturel, and honestly, I just skipped right past it, not giving them a chance, because they didn't jump at it. It wasn't something that, like, either Thrun or, I can't think of his name, Leosin, were, like, really in need of. They needed one of you to join each organization, or even one of you to join one of the organizations. So when the two of them just kind of stood by somewhat silently, they did not push it.
Makes sense. So yeah, those are the Harpers. They're the order Tynus and Vicious are a part of. And now we know Gemna is a Harper. I don't know anything about what Solomon might be. Probably Gauntlet, based on the fact he's wearing full armor.
Yeah, I think Solomon all but told me he was part of the Gauntlet. Just when he like saw my thing and knew what it was and everything.
I believe Solomon outed himself as a Harper to you. He came out that he worked with you.
Oh, he's a Harper. Okay.
Oh, okay,
Titus
okay.
and Solomon haven't had any interactions.
Yeah, right now Solomon only really had an interaction predominantly with Doc and a little bit with Arlyle, but he has far more of a comfort with Doc than anybody because you were the one who stopped. Arlyle just kind of came back more to assist you, perhaps, than anything. And I think as well, Radisir kind of stepped back when the two of you did that. I feel like that's the three who stopped to help him.
Yeah, I think that's in my notes, yeah. So for now, the party is now aware of what's up with Tynus. Why is he pale? Why is he acting so strangely? And also that he and Gemna was a harper, even though she would no longer be present with them. We're currently on the outskirts of Waterdeep. We're in like the farm area around the major city. So we're only a few hours out from the main city, right?
Yeah, when you all start to head into Waterdeep on that day, you would kind of make the outer wall of the South Ward probably shortly after noon, towards high sun. You would start to cross through the first of the gates before coming to a large open area outside of the main entrance into the South Ward, but inside of the main defensive gate to the South Ward, there's probably about a 300-foot gap in this wall where you all would have the ocean to your left, to the south of you. You would see the bay in front of you, and then slightly spanning to your right, sort of forward and to your right, basically directly west, you would start to see the city, and the city rises ever further until you see the actual mountain that Waterdeep is built around, that eventually the castle is kind of built up at the base of the mountain. You would start to see the eyrie of the hippogriffs. Damn, I feel like that was the wrong one. But we're going
Griffins?
with hippogriffs. Yeah, griffins, there we go. You would see the eyrie of the griffins on the top of the mountain, and you would see the actual flight of griffin riders around Waterdeep. But predominantly what you are doing at that point is entering through the main defensive gate. There's probably about a 50 or a 60-foot rise in the actual cart path. It does like one... hunchback comes to mind, but that's the wrong word. Switchback. Like one switchback as it rises to that gate. The gate itself probably stands another 60 or 80 feet above head, and probably about 200 feet to your right to the north. You would see that wall actually drops off and stops, where the actual wall of earth is a sheer cliff of about 60 feet, and that starts to delineate the outer edge of the city to your north. The actual loud din of noise would just, it would start to be almost a cacophony compared to traveling in the wilds of the world. Even Daggerford and Dragonspear have no sense of sound like this initial din that you would come across as you enter into Waterdeep's Bazaar. This is where many of the wagons are unloading and kind of starting to set up different levels of booths. You would see plenty of things for trade at this point, and start to see the kind of like initial almost very similar to how Baldur's Gate had people selling off their goods and starting to head back in the other direction because it wasn't worth like living there. They almost just constantly go up and down the tradeway. This initial bazaar is people kind of doing that, where they are unloading their wagons and either selling stuff to another merchant who lives in Waterdeep and actually lives or sells in the trade district, versus people who are trying to just sell like little bits before they head back on the road for whatever purpose. But this is a smaller initial bazaar where a little bit more of the actual wagons that would go along the tradeway are, before many people start to unload into different, more prepared for sale carts, where they're almost like doing a pop-up cart that starts to show their goods instead of a full wagon designed for long distance travel.
All right. Tynus will, as they're entering into this more or less, I guess, checkpointy area, Tynus will be looking for one of those figures in black to start paying their taxes.
You haven't actually entered into the city proper, so you've not yet met one of the magisters. You would know, though, that it's the next gate that you would go through that the magisters actually start to collect taxes.
Gotcha. Well, then for now, yeah, Tynus. I guess Tynus is just going to be continuing along with the party as they do their business. He doesn't have any much strong feelings for any of the people in this caravan, as Lilu's went ahead with the others, and Oin is not really nice. He's not really on good terms with Oin or Green Imps or any of them. So he's just sort of gonna be waiting off, ready to continue onward, as the rest of the party may be saying goodbye to closer people.
Doc Vicious, any thoughts while you enter the Bazaar of Waterdeep?
Nope. Sorry.
We should try and keep a low profile. This is a big city, and with big cities come big trouble. Try to stay below the radar, so to speak.
I believe the radar here is so much wider.
I will try to look inconspicuous, because I'm a green half-orc with a large weapon, and I can do that.
Speaking of weapons, you shouldn't. I guess we'll get to that later. It's probably best you don't carry those openly while we're inside the city. In fact, it's a very good way to get suspicion thrown on you.
Where am I gonna put it?
Um, that is a good question. I hadn't considered that. We'll have to find some sort of lodging or place to stay where we can stow our weapons as we travel around the city. Unless we do want. No, of course we don't. Never mind. Won't even consider that option.
So, coming into the Bazaar, of course, Jan is the only one who still has an actual job. So, you guys are going to see as Jan gets paid for his tasks at hand, as Zuska kind of stops here, apparently no longer requiring a guard of any sort. Zuska pays him off and seems to head into the city with a lighter wagon and ends up hiring, I can't think of the name of the actual carts, but it's a horse-drawn carriage inside of Waterdeep, loading a few actual strong boxes into that little taxi, and kind of disappears into the city. Doc, at some point, Oin would actually be heading over to you, shaking your hand and thanking you. I'm very sorry that you were abandoned by the other that you were working with, and everything with the Heroes of Greenest. I have to apologize. I've already done really well for myself here in Waterdeep, and before you head off and go about your life, I just wanted to pay you for your wonderful service and everything that you were able to do for me. And Oin is going to hand you a sack of coins. It's pretty solid, about weighs a pound. And when you would open it up at some point, there's 15 gold pieces in there.
Thank you, friend. It's not necessary, but much appreciated. I've always been a firm believer that what goes around comes around, so know that I'll always have your back regardless.
I was thinking the same thing. And Oin kind of leans in and says, and then disappears into the city.
Dang it.
Found a lot.
Diamonds.
That's what I thought you said. Dang it.
Dang it.
So apparently Oin got to the city and pretty quickly selling off all of the rare birds that he was transferring, found this little package of diamonds. And along that same line of what goes around comes around, wanted to make sure to pay for Doc. Despite firing him at that point, Oin felt that there was some level of Timora to be insulted by not paying you. And I think Oin would have only owed you about 5 gold had you, stayed on. But but paid you 3 times that, in part because of the windfall that Oin came about. I guess technically Arlyle would get paid by Green IMSA. I'm not even really sure if there is any sense to even continue to talk about Arlyle. I've heard nothing from Josh for I feel like a month now. Oh, and side note, I have to apologize again for that last encounter. Part of the biggest thing that I failed to account for was that creature was meant to encounter you all fighting with a paladin of level 6. Those saves would have been a large amount easier had there been a level 6 paladin next to you, and it made the encounter probably 3 times as hard by not having a paladin next to you. So again, I have to apologize for that last session.
That's fine.
So among the last bits of things before heading into the main gate, you would see Cynthia the Noble, who you all saved in the Fields of the Dead. And Cynthia would kind of... I think this would be about as the last of the caravan itself has kind of displaced. You would see everybody kind of going about the last of their ways, and she would approach the last of your group and kind of come to you all, shaking hands with everyone. She still has her 3 guards with her, and she would kind of bow to you all. Pretty low bow for what it is, like kind of like dropping her head more than her torso at all. I wanted to once again thank you all for everything that you were able to do. And while I appreciate being able to repay some of what you've done for me, and she'll like nod her head to Vicious, while I appreciate everything, I wanted to make sure that you know if you do require anything of the Drakenfangs, we would be in your debt still. Please, fear not to come for my family and ask any aid that we may be able to give to you. And she is going to turn and head into the city, and you will see that she, Tynus, you would probably recognize this most, she raises her hand and sort of waves off the Magister in black and enters without actually being stopped.
Ooh, nobility.
Well, that was a lucky thing for us then.
What? Not killing NPCs can pay off to do good for you?
I don't know.
Big shock.
So other than that, if you all were ready to head into the city, probably the first thing that you would have to decide is, as they kind of stop you at the gate, you would be told, or rather you would be asked, how long do you intend to stay? Where are you staying? And you want to pay your taxes ahead of time, or are you looking to have a tax collector basically come after you once it's time to pay said taxes? Taxes are paid via a 10-day. Tynus would be able to relay that traveling through the city, there's no taxes to be paid if you stay less than 10 days. Staying over a month, you can, I think you save a little bit of coin by paying a monthly tax, but you can, if you know where you are staying, you can have them just kind of stop by and they will collect the tax. There's no difference whether you pay ahead of time or pay once you are kind of come after. It's not like they're coming after you to collect because you're doing something bad.
Tynus will encourage the group to just pay for this first 10-day immediately, and any after we could probably do for collection.
That's a good idea.
And where will you be staying?
My friends and I will be staying in the Dock District.
Yes, but where in the Dock District?
We currently do not have an established place of residence. That's simply where we're headed.
Perhaps you may find things a little bit easier if you acclimate yourself to the town and find a magister for there. For now, I will take down your names, and you can find the closest magister once you find a place that you reside, and we can work from there.
Yeah. Tynus nods and gives them his name.
Yes, that sounds much agreeable. I'm Doc.
Doc who?
You can call me Doc Holiday, but I've been called worse.
Excellent. And this one, is this one of your pets?
Pets? I'm not a pet.
She's a close friend and traveling companion.
Do you need a leash? There are leather workers just inside the gate. I believe the closest one is probably 3 blocks in. You'll see the large building. There's a wonderful collar on his sign. You should be able to find a leash there.
You seem
Much
confused.
appreciated for the advice. Go along. Her name is Vicious.
Yes, I can see that she is an orc, but a name?
Yes, we've taken to calling her Vicious.
Interesting. A doc and an orc. Move along. Don't cause any trouble. And you see as he kind of signals a few guards who start to follow you all inside of the city.
A pet?
Sorry about that, Vicious. Orcs and half-orcs are not particularly well viewed among the more civilized races. And, well, yes. But for now, we know the truth, even if the rest may not acknowledge it.
I thought it was rather funny that he recommended a leash. If anything, he knew you a little better. He'd probably recommend a bib for that drool.
I'm gonna backhand Doc very gently.
I was just joking, Vicious. Perhaps a leash would be better in case any vampire creatures try to carry you away.
Are you going to let her hit you?
I guess I'll try to block it or get out of the way.
Just do a dexterity save.
But I'm assuming she caught me off guard, so I'll do it at disadvantage.
That's legit. Yeah, you can take 1 damage as she backhands you.
Wow.
Doc coughs a little bit. A little blood comes out. Don't worry, Vicious, that wasn't from you.
Let's
Yeah,
find
you're looking
ourselves
a little-
some lodging. I'm sorry, Vicious.
Just gonna say something about him looking a bit under the weather.
That makes 2 of us.
Yeah, there might be something going around. Let's just hope that you didn't get what I got, Tanis.
Oh, yes, let's hope. And he'll look actually grave when he says that. I believe whatever is afflicting me may actually be a slightly lesser fate. So, I guess going forward, there in the southward. Can we get like the map of Waterdeep?
I posted the interactive map of Waterdeep into Discord. Waterdeep is way too big to make inside of D&D or Roll20.
Gotcha.
It just
Gotcha.
doesn't
Is that
function
in
well
the
there. It's just that link inside of the actual Discord there. So as you all are walking through the city, it's not long before you start to just regularly be bumped by people walking into you. Here and there, there's just a lot of action in this part of the South Ward. Generally making your way along the Dragon Way towards the Trade Ward, just along sort of the main thoroughfare that goes starting to head kind of west, but it starts to veer to the north, but it's essentially the south to north way through Waterdeep. And it's not long before you actually get a sense that somebody was just inside of your pocket, Tinus. And as you reach in to check it out, you see a crumbled piece of paper that seems to be months old, almost as if it's been a part of this world for months and ignored through multiple plot hooks that have been ignored completely, and is wanted to arrive in your possession anyways. Jamie, you're not allowed to laugh because I think 3 out of 4 of those plot hooks were yours.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
When you guys stepped onto the barge and there was the broken wheel, you didn't look down at the ground. Like, I feel like I mentioned something about like refuse on the ground, and you're like, yep, I'm gonna lift up the cart and move it onto the boat. Like, you're not gonna look across anything. Oh, I said the character like picked something up very quickly from the ground. The knocking over the cart with Radisir was meant to find that for you. And there was one other one. Shit. But yeah, there were multiple occasions where I was trying to give that to you. But that's one of those things that you all could have found ages ago, and it would somewhat confirm that, and it appears that somebody kind of slipped it into your pocket while you were walking through Waterdeep.
Good decision to have somebody else with a plot hook.
Ooh, all right.
I'm not sure. Most of the time I transcribe, so there's something below that you can... No, not on this one. My bad. Usually I type them in actual English instead of the font.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm making just quick note of all important names and stuff.
So are we
Uh,
under the impression that that note was meant for us and that we're to seek out Aurobuck's Fox Traveler in Waterdeep? Or is that like
Tynus would
something we just...
remember that Fox Traveler was the person that you all left in Boulder's Gate. He was the person who owned the inn that you went to that seemed to be scamming you.
Oh, the one
Oh,
that
okay.
kept charging higher fees.
yep, I have that one. The Fox Travelers Inn. There was a big party outside that we did nothing about.
But no, in particular, that's just one of those letters that it's meant to be something that confirms that you have essentially been on the right path, that the cult was fleeing after they basically feel like that one lists that it was creeping Resmir out, that
Yeah.
that Leosin was in his camp. Yeah. So that is, I believe, the first time that you all got the name Resmir, who is the worm speaker. And basically confirming that he was creeped out by Leosin being in that camp, and that was why they started to flee. But that's essentially what you really gain there. It's not necessarily meant to be a current plot hook. It's just one of the things that confirms what you are doing.
All right. Tynus will share this information with the party a little later, but he will tap Doc and Vicious and just sort of give them a gesture to his pocket.
Why are you pointing at your pocket?
Something to tell you about later.
Okay.
So, what sort of anything might you all need to accomplish inside of Waterdeep? What do you have in mind? Still, it'd probably be little after 1, maybe 2-ish. The sun's probably 20 degrees out of high sun.
Boop-a-doo.
It
Do
would
we
have
have a
taken...
specific contact that we're supposed to be meeting up with in Waterdeep? Or is there like a established Order of the Gauntlet or anything? Is that like an open type of thing that we would know to go to?
If you wanted to seek out the Order of the Gauntlet, you would be at least aware enough that the likely best place for you to do that would be either a Temple of Helm, realistically, probably the Temple of Helm, or seeking out, let's see, same link. I think there might actually be an Order of the Gauntlet. Give me 1 second.
Oh yeah, no worries. I'm just trying to figure out what our next actual plan of action would be.
But no, as far as I'm concerned, the way you all played out that caravan, you lost any leads that you would have come off of it with.
Tynus would be currently recommending they find a place to establish lodging for themselves so that they can disarm. So that's what he's going to be recommending they do.
That's fine. I don't like the idea of putting down all the weapons, though.
I don't like it either, but it's one of those things where if we want to maintain a low profile in Waterdeep, we have to disarm, and absolutely we must follow the laws of this city. So he's going to just be pointing out some of the possible places for them to stop and rest. The Red Gauntlet, seeing as they're on the Dragon's Way, will probably be the first tavern they encounter, and he'll just say, "That's the first one we've seen."
So the Halls
Wait,
of
that's
Justice would be one of the best places that you could... Well, let's see. Yeah, I think it's sufficient enough that Tynus would know if you're speaking about the Order of the Gauntlet. He would recommend to you that the Halls of Justice near the market in the Castle Ward, like on the north end of the Castle Ward, would be a viable place to start.
Yep, found it.
Affirmative.
So, do you all want to sort of establish our lodging here in the South Ward, or should we head closer to the orders?
Really no preference one way or the other. Open to recommendations. Haven't never been to this particular city.
Well, if we're going by my own preference, then I would like to find a place to stay in the Castle Ward, as my temple, the temple that I was trained in, is located there.
The Temple of Lathander is just to the northwest of where Doc is speaking about. So if you were looking to go to, let's see, I believe it's called the Temple of the Rising Sun. I have it written
I got
down.
it as Spires of the Morning.
Spires of Morning. Yep, that sounds right. That is barely a stone's throw away from where he's talking about going.
The Castle Ward it is, then. Let's head up this way.
All right, I'll follow you since I'm your pet.
You are no pet of mine. So, yeah, I guess they'll just head up the Dragon Way up until they get to the high road and off to the Castle Ward.
So the most direct route would be to cross over near the market, basically heading up along the Dragon Way until you come to the actual market area and start to head to the west from there. As you walk along the outskirts of the market, you would eventually come within a block of the... Shit, too many screens. The Halls of Justice, and then Tynus, the actual temple to Lathander, would be another block forward, and then you start to head up that actual direction along Calmaster Lane to get to your temple. But inside of the Halls of Justice, you can either go with them, Doc, you can go alone. It's up to you all how you kind of progress here. But assuming that you're standing kind of right between the market and the Halls of Justice, it's a little bit more open of a kind of like crossing of like 5 different streets at that point.
Well, let's proceed in. We can probably find some contacts of Untharfroom in there. At least we should.
Yes, probably not a bad idea to stay together for now. Big city like this and a big bag of gold could mean trouble for a man like me. And he sort of like reaches into his pocket and feels like, his gold sack's a little thicker than he's used to, and he might get a little reckless with it if he starts drinking.
You want to give part of that to us to hold on to?
It's probably not a bad idea, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, just drop it in the party loot then.
Yeah, I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just keep like 5 gold, 10 silver, and 10 copper on me, and then I'll deposit 32 gold and 32 silver.
And where's
Right.
that actually getting held?
I've been assuming that Vicious holds the party loot because she has the highest strength. So that's my guess, but I don't know if we ever discussed it outright.
No, it kind of was in the ether.
Yeah, I'm good with Vicious holding it just because like Doc in general is not responsible whatsoever. So the worst thing possible would be for him to have a bunch of gold, especially that belongs to other people.
So you said 62 gold or 32 gold and 30 silver?
32 each actually. 32 gold and 32 silver. So I'll just that way I only have 5 gold, 10 silver, and 10 copper on me.
All right, I'm updating the party loot.
And that will be plenty for you to be entertained with.
Yes, I've been robbed on more than one occasion, and most of the time I'm not even mad about it. So I'd rather not change that situation.
All right, so I'm looking at the map. I see this thing called the market, but it's to the north of the castle ward. Where are we?
It's the yellow dot directly to the left of the market.
All right, thanks.
Let's head inside then. We may not have much to report, but we can at least get started on whatever actions we need to do here.
Oh, you all can enter this building. It is a pretty massive marbled hall that opens up probably about 60 by 100 by 60 into a pretty large triangle of sorts. There's many different like high platformed counters along the way, and there seems to be a manifold number of doors that seem to open off in all directions from this main room as you enter inside. Don't really seem to be greeted by anybody, but you do notice that shortly after entering, you don't seem to have guards on your tail anymore.
Well, that's never a bad thing.
Doc, I believe you are the one with connections to Untharf Room. Perhaps you should go, I guess, ask around?
Yeah, as I kind of just like aimlessly wander, I'll take a little shot out of my flask and notice it's feeling kind of empty. And then I'll just sort of like look around for someone.
There's plenty of people around. Many of them seem busy, like faces inside of, like, basically like drop down into a scroll, reading, filling out paperwork. There seems to be a large bureaucracy inside of this room you are currently in. Nobody seems to be paying any attention to you.
I will announce myself. I am Doc and here to speak with someone. Who shall it be?
Nobody really looks up at all. You just kind of like get like swallowed into the din of the marble as it kind of like echoes in with all of the other voices of the people standing around.
I have this rare scroll that I need someone to take a look at, but I'm unfamiliar with. Perhaps I'm in the wrong place.
Are you holding up a scroll?
Oh, no, I don't have a scroll.
Kindness will hold up the scroll of water breathing.
Here it is. Rare scroll. Perhaps someone could take a look.
You see somebody's head kind of like perk up, and you see like just their right eye seems to be open as they're kind of like looking over their feathered writing utensil, and they're kind of looking down at you from about like 6 or 7 feet. So they're looking down quite a ways, and they're probably about 30 or so feet away. And then all of a sudden their head disappears. And after a few moments, you see this figure about 2.5 feet tall waddling forward to you. Hi there! What do you got there? And he's like reaching up for the scroll, but reaches about 3 foot off the ground.
Perfect. There you are. I've been looking for you. I'm a Doc, and these are my companions.
Hey, Doc, can I see the scroll? What is it? What do you think it is? Where'd you get it?
I'll leave it up to Tinus to give him the scroll.
The scroll?
Tinus handed it to you. He doesn't have it.
Oh, okay. Yes, here, take a look. I'm not very familiar with magic or this type of thing, but I figured this would be a good place to come and have it checked out. I myself am a member of the Order of the Gauntlet. I'll kind of say that part quietly.
Did you pay for this scroll?
Paid in blood.
Sounds like a pretty good story. The scroll is worthless. It's a potion of, or it's a scroll of water breathing. Like, if you ever want to go swimming, it's probably pretty good for you, but probably kind of useless if you live on land.
Perfect. Perhaps you can provide some other useful information then.
How can I help you? What else do you need?
We have just arrived.
Basically no attention to you dropping the Order of the Gauntlet.
Okay. We have just arrived in Waterdeep and are curious if I can make any useful contacts. And then he'll kind of look at him again and say, we are... and then he'll kind of look at the party, whether or not he should drop any further information about the cult or anything.
Tynus will just give him a nod, like, at least mention Onthar. That part he says out loud, just at least mention Onthar.
Out of curiosity, is there anybody that's familiar with where was our original greenest, or might have companions, or be familiar with Unthar Proom by any chance?
Froom.
Froom?
I'm not familiar with him, but let's see. We could probably put you in. And he's like looking around at all of the people kind of standing around doing nothing, like between a lot of the doors. I could probably put you in that queue over there, and we can get you to see somebody pretty shortly here. And he runs away.
Well, that was helpful. Tynus will start walking over to that queue.
Yes, I was a little hesitant to make it clear that we are the heroes of greenest. I imagine that our exploits have traveled this far.
I believe calling ourselves the hero of greenness is going to be far less significant than calling ourselves simply contacts of Onthar Froom. The more names you can drop, I believe, the better off we'll be. And we don't have to be as shifty as before, as we at least know for a fact we are in good company here.
Were you going to say something vicious?
Call ourselves heroes. That's never a good look.
There's also the fact that the heroes of greenness are trapezing up and down the main road, scamming people. So maybe not that specific title.
So as you all are waiting, there's probably about 15 or so people in this queue, and a lot of them seem like quite agitated how long they seem to be waiting here. And after quite some time, you all would see the door open. You see a magister kind of open the door, and a few people kind of start to walk out before you see two people walking out in manacles and chains, two more guards behind them, and then they kind of like move through into one of the kind of back doors in kind of like the pinnacle of this triangle that this room's made of. And the magister seems to like wave forward to the next person in the queue. And as this is happening, you see this little gnome kind of run back up, and he like taps the magister, points to the three of you, and you're waved inside, and the five of you can head in.
Nice. We will follow him in.
Yep, follow right on in.
Murtag tells me that you all have business with the Gauntlet. How may I assist you?
Yes, I was worried that wasn't going to find any useful contacts here. I'm a member of the Gauntlet myself, and I'll show him my medallion.
You see as the Magister kind of like drops his head to bow to you as his eyes close to acknowledge it. Well, this is one of the larger homes of those who are a member of the Order. How can we help you here? I understand you are looking for Onthar Froom?
We are friends of his, just arrived in the area. A long journey from Greenest, and only just gotten to Waterdeep today. We are, let's say, looking for the next leg of our journey. We have, and then I'll look back at the party again, dispatched quite a few of the dragon cultists, and made ourselves more than useful in the battle against the winged ones.
Intriguing. We've heard the start of the rise of this cult has been growing into a new threat. What have you learned? You have no direction?
We have dispatched quite a few of the higher ranking cultists and disbanded a large group, but we're unable to finish the job with one of these beasts, but able to at least make it leave the area. We've come this way to extend our travels, build a name for ourselves, and of course, perhaps some exploits and some riches along the way.
I somehow imagine lost sight of your tax if honor, exploits, and riches are what you were after.
If I may cut in, and Tynus will just sort of put himself into the conversation. Unfortunately, we didn't learn very much in our travels along the tradeway. We were able to confirm the cult activity that was already known, and of course, we had several run-ins with the cult itself and several of its affiliates, though we weren't able to gather any information we may know for sure is new. However, I did receive this, and he will pull out the note in his pocket, confirming that one of the innkeepers in Daggerford is associated with the cult.
Side note, that's Baldur's Gate.
Right, Baldur's Gate. Sorry, I wrote down the wrong city. Fixing that in my notes.
And you were able to track the cult here into Waterdeep? But you've given up following them?
We lost their trail as they divided themselves up, but we did confirm that they have arrived here with several bits of what they call their hoard.
I believe it is of importance to the Order that you were able to track their path. It would be difficult to track them through Waters Deep, but looking over you all, you can kind of see you're being judged and being found wanting. Someone with a little different skill set might have been useful in tailing such vile creatures. As the Magister, stares at Vicious. It seems perhaps the bureaucracy might be able to track them down for you. For now, you there, what did you say your name was? And you see, the come hither finger towards you, Doc.
I'm the one and only Doc. I'm sure you've heard of my exploits.
Doctor who?
Hey!
Different doctor. I was actually a dentist,
Dentist?
but that was
Who?
years ago.
No phone booths here.
Fine, don't give me your name. Can I...
Oh no, I apologize. I misunderstood you there. You can call me Doc Holliday, but I'm known by Doc for my exploits.
Let me see your pendant once more.
And I'll take it off and let him look at it.
As he takes the pendant, you see he manipulates the weave with his right hand before this glow of light taps into the gauntlet, and you see as the outline of the fingers start to glow before it goes back to, in many ways, looking exactly the same as it did before. For now, return to your business in the city. I will contact those who I need to contact, and perhaps the Magisters will be able to figure out those who would have arrived ahead of you, see where many of this caravan have gone, and we will be able to, through a new magical art of probabilities, be able to determine where this cult has gone. Mirtag will show you out. You all will not likely have to return here, but you will hear from me soon.
Much appreciated. And in the event that we do need to return and provide valuable information, and I'll give him a nod and say, who do we ask for?
You can look to Mirtag next time as well. For now, he will be the closest contact to get in my presence.
And again, I don't mean to impose, but what is your name?
And he raises out his hand, palm down, fingers kind of limp to the ground, his right arm, and just raises it out to in front of you at chin height, basically. Torin.
Doc will like gently take his hand and like give it like the respect kiss. Will you say his name or spell it for me?
Tuorin. And among his hand, there is a large signet ring that represents the Order of the Gauntlet that you would quickly recognize.
Perfect. That'll be the target for these two lips. Much
I'm typing
appreciated,
goblet.
Torin. What was that?
I started typing and it just came out goblet. I didn't get the whole word, but so I put gauntlet in instead.
Right.
Gauntlet is the right word.
Tuorin, but he is a member of the Order of the Gauntlet.
Right, I got that. But
I got what you
I was
said.
going
You
for
started
goblet.
typing goblet. Okay.
Good thing the computer knew who the Order of the Gauntlet was.
All
Doc
right.
should probably join the Order of the Goblet.
Man, the Order of the Goblet, I don't think we have the credentials to get in that group.
Right this way. You guys, you can follow me. We can head through this way. Miratag's
Appreciate you,
taking you
Moyotech.
to
I'll just follow
a
him.
different door.
Different door, nice.
Perfect. Are you taking us to our quarters?
We only have jail cells here, so maybe not here. Do you need a place to stay?
3 hots and a cot sounds pretty good right now. I've stayed worse places than a jail cell, if you know what I mean. Do you have somewhere?
Well, I've got a pretty big family, but we've always got room. How do you all feel like about sleeping on 3-foot-long beds?
That's a bit small. Maybe there's an inn that you could recommend?
There's probably an inn.
No offense, me attack, but I find it rather hard to believe that you have a pretty big family.
Well, not like that kind of big. There's like a lot of us.
No, I got it. And I'll pull out my cigarettes and offer him one. I was just messing with you, little guy.
Don't smoke in here. We've got a lot of paperwork, and the smoke is really bad for the parchment. But if you can just... And, like, as he opens up the door, there's, like, a magical seal that lights up in, like, this brilliant orange flame. And it opens up to outside of the building. It seems to be the front door, as if you walked in through the entrance and walked directly out. But this is clearly not where the front door should be of this place.
Thank you for your time. And Tynus will walk out. Unless anyone is going to say something to me or Tag.
Yes, goodbye, my friend. Appreciate your assistance. Be well.
Goodbye.
Keep your heart close. And he pats like on his chest, like on his breast, where the emblem of the gauntlet basically rests on your necklace.
Do I have any idea what that little magical thing that he did was? Would I have any kind of inclination?
You can do an Arcana check.
Hey, I'm supposed to have a meeting at 3. I don't have a link yet for it, but I figured, you usually take a break.
Yeah, we can definitely plan the break around then. Do you know how long it will be, Jamie?
No. First, I need to be able to get into the meeting.
Yeah, so if we can have you stick around in here until you basically get the link and then know when it's going to actually start, we'll take a break for 15 or 20 minutes, and then once we come back to it, hopefully that's enough, but otherwise, like, we'll restart at some point.
Yeah, that should be like, I don't know, half hour at most.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I'm completely time flexible today, so.
It'll more or less be like when Ben was picking up his little girl, where we'll like take the break at the most ideal point where you would have to start and be gone. But other than that, basically try to delay for at least as long as possible there. Did you roll the Arcana? Oh, I'm no longer on the VTT because I'm looking at Waterdeep.
Yeah, it was a 6.
It'd be enough that you can gather that Torin was talking about, like, I'll get in contact with you. So something about what he was doing was making it easier for him to communicate with you. But that's about what you would know at that point. And then Murtag kind of confirms it a little bit, and basically, like, before you go, tapping to say, keep your emblem close.
Gotcha.
But you would notice also, among other things, that Murtag didn't recognize the order when you were talking about it inside of the lobby, and didn't mention it now that you're standing essentially out front of the Halls of Justice.
Right. So he was like clearly just downplaying it, but knew what I was talking about.
Yeah, I think you would also be vaguely aware enough that most members of the Order are paladins and clerics of Helm, Torm, and Ilmater. But it's not necessarily a secret order so much as it is a it's like a secret faction inside of an explicit order. So it's one of the things where it's like a just below the surface kind of secret.
We've got a secret handshake, but not a crest. I gotcha.
Well, like, or members of the Order of the Gauntlet are much more likely to wear the gauntlet on the outside of their dress, because it is essentially the Gauntlet of Torm. So it's not really a big difference to be a member of the Order of the Gauntlet than to just be a follower of Torm. Whereas, like, the Harper crest isn't really like a deity's symbol. It's clearly a symbol that you're a member of, like, this spy organization. So there's a different level of secrecy behind those two. And that's kind of one of the things that the Order of the Gauntlet does, is it basically hides in plain sight, whereas the Harpers kind of hide. But other than that, you all are, again, outside of the Halls of Justice, just to the west of the market inside of Waterdeep.
Well, I will be going off towards my temple after we've established lodging. Knowing what you now know, you can probably understand why I'm not too keen on resting there yet. Hopefully, I can talk things over and get some help about this situation. For now, we passed several inns on the way here, um, and he will just start walking towards one of them.
All right, hold on. I thought Halls of Justice was Tynus's temple thing that we were heading for.
No, Tynus
No,
is
no.
just beyond it. It's the... God, so many fucking sheets. Only
Spires of
problem that
Morning.
I have found with Notion as a place to take notes is it's really difficult to keep multiple pages open. The Spires of Morning?
Yep, that's it. Spires of the Morning.
Yeah, the Spires of the Morning is just beyond the Halls of Justice. If you're still on the Waterdeep map, just to the northwest, about 3.5 blocks, there's a little triangular point right underneath where it says Jalthun Street, and that yellow icon is the Spires of the Morning.
But yeah, Tynus basically just confirmed to the party that he doesn't want to visit there until they have other lodging. Also, when they came back out, were they starting to be followed again by like the guards?
The guards are waiting at the front door.
Thought so. Let's find ourselves a magistrate in the castle ward as well. I believe that will alleviate some of their worry once our weapons are off and our tax is paid.
Can we find an inn with a waterside view? I kind of like the water.
Tynus, when you say that, are you just saying that out loud to everyone?
Oh yeah, that one he just said out loud.
The magistrates would prefer if you find your lodging before you pay your taxes. Otherwise, we would request that you wait until the taxes are due and have found lodging. There is no reason to create an issue before an issue need be created.
Ah, thank you. I said that in the wrong order. So, an inn with a view.
And you would know you're not guilty of anything by carrying weapons. You just have guards that are following you to keep the peace in many ways, more ways than one.
Oh yeah, that's why Tinus was like speaking casually to them. He doesn't consider them like in trouble. He's just like, I'd rather get these weapons off.
Okay, so is that the only reason they're following us, is to make sure that they know where we're staying and that we don't carry our weapons around?
Oh, they could care less. They're not related to where you're staying. They are following you because you have weapons.
Yeah, Tinus will say, remember what I said? It makes us suspicious and stand out. This is what I meant. Let's find ourselves a place to stay. I don't know if we can find somewhere with specifically ocean view, though the castle ward is fairly close. Wait, can I see over the wall, like the water?
The castle ward is pretty well blocked from any views of the water. There is, and they point off to the west of you. The actual mountain starts in a massive arm that comes up almost the entire length of the castle ward. It's probably about 50 or so feet tall, almost immediately to the west of you. And as it sort of starts to extend up, just a few 100 feet south of you, it's already almost 100 feet tall. And by the time it gets down quite a ways towards the castle, you're starting to see where it's like almost 200 feet tall at that cliff. And this arm eventually becomes the main arm that reaches up to the Griffin Eyrie of the actual mountain of Waterdeep. So there's like three main arms, and the castle ward is pretty much the entire length of this northern arm. Um, there's no view there. But the guards would kind of basically mention to you, you could go to the slums of either the sea ward or to the dock ward. Either might be quite difficult to find a inn that actually gives you a view. It's not the noble's way to not buy up those wonderful spots that do have a view, but you might find things best going to the dock ward with a view of the actual your DM can't think of the word for a port. A view of the actual port, whereas the sea ward still has the walls built about it to keep those who would fish during the day from entering at will.
Excellent. And just out of curiosity, the majority of my time in big cities was in the service of the military. So uh, many cities, and again, please don't take this the wrong way, have brothels and also like some sort of like a betting entertainment, like fighting pit type thing. Uh, those are two things I'd be interested in if you point us in the right direction.
The Faceless Society has many different houses of repute here in the city. It should be no difficulty for you to find a place to lay yourself down. But for your other needs, they point off along the street that Tinus has to go down, and just beyond the Temple of Lathander, you can actually see the Colosseum that is the Fields of Triumph. And you would probably
Perfect.
lightly hear the roar of battles going on as is.
And if I understand that us carrying around these weapons could make you uncomfortable, we're not looking for any trouble that's not legal. If we were to enter or join these fields of triumph, are we allowed then to take our weapons with us? That's considered, I'm assuming, normal.
You are allowed to carry your weapons in the city regardless of what you might do. You will just find that the order is meant to follow those who openly carry weapons. And those who do not explicitly carry them about are breaking the law.
Excellent. Thank you for providing additional information that was not requested but is very useful.
If this is your first time in Waterdeep, you may find it necessary to review the laws of this city. It can be quite dangerous to go about without understanding the laws.
Perfect. Thank you. And would we be able to get those? Are they readily available?
Inside of the Discord, the Encridion and the laws are something that I have posted to the actual Google Docs server, so you all can be aware of.
Yeah, I pretty much remember them from like our last campaign. I was just in character, kind of going with it.
Well, with that information, Vicious, I'd rather us not go all the way down to the dock ward for an ocean view. Our primary methods of communication are up here in the castle ward.
That's fine. Every time I try to do a role play thing, it doesn't work.
No, that was a roleplay thing. That was a very good roleplay thing. With someone with a history of water travel, you'd want to be near the water. Just the rest of the party has more contacts up here.
What are you looking for, Jamie?
I was just doing something about being by the water.
Are you trying to meet a pirate?
Yeah, I just figured it would be, a nice thing to look at the water. I don't care.
Don't
Meet a
have to
pirate,
listen to
nice.
Tynus. You've literally just seen a magical way of speaking for your only contact that you all have met. So there's no reason that you have to listen to Tynus there.
Yeah, he's just being his normal kind of paranoid self.
You would all vaguely recognize though, that finding pirates wouldn't necessarily be the easiest thing in Waterdeep either, though.
City of law.
Good point.
But, like, if you're just trying to stay in an actual inn with a view of water, those are the two districts where your chances... I think it's extremely viable to reestablish that the nobles own most of the places that are tall enough to see over the walls in the Sea Ward. And the places in the dock ward, it's like the slum of all slums is the dock ward. Those are also, both of those are literally the two slums of Waterdeep, is the Sea Ward and the dock ward. But those would be the two places to go. Your contact has literally just given a magical resource for you to communicate to them. So there's no reason to necessarily stay close to that area.
So we were deciding lodging, and then Tynus was going to head up to the Spires of the Morning. Let's see. Definitely going to have some sort of scarf on his neck to keep his bite marks covered.
Yeah, so I'd say overall your bite marks are pretty minimal view-wise at this point. You are about 10 days out of when you had any issue with that. It's been about 7 days since you fed. So they're not necessarily terribly evident at that point. So are you heading to the Spires, or are you looking to accomplish lodging?
Let's get logic out of the way first. And Tynus will say, on our way here, we passed by an inn called the Sapphire House. I'm vaguely aware of it. It's just to the east of here.
I'm not opposed. I don't have any particular place in mind.
Well, let's head off there and make our set up our lodging there. I do want to get to my temple before the day is out, and they'll just head down the side street to get to the Sapphire House.
So just to the west of the Halls of Justice?
Yep, it's one of the 3 red dots. I said Easton.
You did indeed. You said on the way in as well, so I was like, oh, don't go too far away. You're right next to some.
Yeah, I meant to say west, left and right. Hard, right?
So how many rooms are you all looking to acquire?
Yeah, up until now we've all just sort of lodged together. So could we get like a room with 3 beds, a singular room, 3 beds? 4,
Yeah, you
Jan.
guys,
I forgot Jan.
Yeah, well, vaguely, it's I don't know. It's always worth essentially imagining the same party. But for what it's worth, yeah, vaguely it'll be um a gold for you all to get a um I'm trying to think of the word, a hostel style of sleeping arrangement, or you can do it for 15 silver to have a room with 4 beds.
Yeah, I would think would do probably like the 15 silver just for the little extra privacy in case we need it.
Yeah, let's go with that. 15 silver.
So you can get a room that you can effectively lock at that point. What are you all intending to leave behind?
Tynus is leaving behind all of his weapons, basically. Yeah, you definitely, including his flail. He's going to leave all of that behind. And he's probably going to change back into his old clothing. I don't believe he sold it off, his old priestly robes that he changed into traveling clothes for.
Yeah, and then Doc will leave behind his rapier and longbow and make himself like semi-presentable for the whoars.
So you can leave your things behind, lock everything up for the evening, and head back out to the streets. The guards would see you without your weapons and simply instruct you, if you are inclined to stay here for the 10-day, please see one of the magistars at any of the gates, or you can certainly return to the halls of justice, finding a magister there, and register yourselves. Taxes can be paid.
Thank you, sirs.
And then they end up walking off.
Yep. Tynus is going to head straight for the Spires of the Morning.
Do you have any intentions while he is going into the temple, Doc?
Oh, nothing in particular. I can just kind of linger outside and smoke.
And what are your thoughts inside of the Spires of Morning?
Start getting drunk.
Not start getting drunk. Anyway, Tynus is going to be firstly just looking around for a familiar face, someone he can trust. Perhaps maybe the person who trained him, but just someone who definitely knows him personally.
Yeah, I don't think there's any difficulty for you to find a priest that you've either trained with or trained under.
Then he will say to them, "It's good to see you again. I've recently returned to Waterdeep after having to leave for so long, and I just wanted to come by and see a friendly face after so long."
I don't believe you've named any in your background, is that correct?
Yeah, nope, haven't got anyone named.
Going with Gasto.
Gasto works.
It's a pleasure to see you, good sir. You seem perhaps ill. Was it a strenuous travel?
It was quite a bit, and I'm
And who do you
almost.
intend Gasto to be?
I would like
Because we can say
Gasto to
you can
be
basically
the
find whoever you'd like to go there and look for.
perfect. Gasto will be this will be the not the head of the whole church, but sort of the head of the person who trains up the
So like your mentor,
entrance.
basically, almost like your PhD mentor.
Exactly.
So yeah, the last thing he would kind of almost immediately comment on like your look of not necessarily exhaustion, but your pale visage.
Yes, I definitely went through quite a bit on the road. That's why I'm so grateful to be back here in the presence of those I can call close. Uh, however, I need. Do we have any? Where is our library? I need to do some reading on a lot of things that I saw while I was out there. Several of which were uh, quite worrisome to me, and you may notice I'm feeling a bit sick, and I need to look into what illness afflicts me.
We have some tomes in the Citadel itself, but if you are in need of a curiosity, perhaps it would be best to access a scholar. Are you in a rush? What sort of... How long have you been afflicted?
I'm in no rush. I'm certainly going to be here for at least a 10-day. Uh, Honestly, I don't know what's been coming over me. I've been having horrible nightmares and this paleness in my skin. But other than that, I don't know what's wrong.
Well, you are more than likely to search the holy texts that we have within, but perhaps for an illness you might find better sources of knowledge elsewhere. It may be in your best interest simply to send someone off to do the searching for you, unless you need a move along. You can certainly try to find access to the other libraries inside the Waterdevian network that we have, but most will still be hesitant to let a new member inside. The Order of Scholars is perhaps the best resource that you would have, and you could send as many scholars as needs be into multiple libraries. Our own, as you well know, is far more focused on Lathander and his own doings. So perhaps if you have no clue yourself, you would already know that the resources here will not likely give you an answer.
That is so, and I will admit there's a certain level of sentimentality guiding my actions. I spent so much time studying here that I'm inclined to want to do so again, even for something I know may be ah futile. And he will
So
just say that with a casual laugh.
you would pretty well know that, like, this temple is going to have holy texts relating to Lathander, both his life as well as essentially things dedicated to him, but by and large are essentially uh, holy texts of the Morning Lord. There's another... I have to let go of shift to actually click it. There is another temple that is related to a few different gods that might be somewhat viable. Fucking, I don't have it typed up there. Where is it? Just gathered
Is
this
it
all to be prepared for you.
is it like was it the one from the last campaign that was like the Spire or something?
No, that one's like a nondescript temple to gods, not to a particular god. I have this somewhere in my actual notes because I was trying to be prepared to share this with you. But there is essentially another temple, world building notes, and not in this campaign's note. But he's basically going over the fact for you that this deity is, or rather, Lathander is the focus of everything in this temple. So while you are most welcome to actually sit back and do your research here, it is not necessarily going to procure like fresh information for you.
Gotcha.
That there are other places where you can certainly research in other temples dedicated to other gods, as well as temples like that are essentially like monasteries dedicated to like healing people. But by and large, you are aware enough that the only real library is in fact the place that you were closest to ages ago when you were near Baldur's Gate in Elturel, which was in fact, I want to call it the Citadel, but I feel like that's the wrong word.
I see. So
Candlekeep.
yeah, yes, Candlekeep. I remember that one. Well then, yeah. For now, Tynus will I'd say spend an hour reacquainting himself with old friends, and eventually he will make his way out with the knowledge of both with the intention of at some point going to the Order of Scholars to get some research done for him, since, again, I don't think they plan to be leaving anytime soon, or we haven't discussed it yet.
So if you mention that to Gastro, you can essentially send off scholars to start to do research for you if you give them the topic that you are looking for them to gain information on. And depending on how many you are looking to send off to which libraries, there's different levels of fees for it.
All right, then he will mostly be trying to send off, let's say, I guess, he'll send off two scholars, both looking through libraries. One looking through libraries that are focused on curses and well, yeah, one will be focused on curses, and the other will be focused on entities, both related to um, blood sucking and uh, mind games.
At some point, you would kind of arrive at their curiosity being a wall. Uh, what do you mean by blood-sucking mind games?
I encountered a monster that afflicted one of my companions, and these were the symptoms that they were telling of me. I admit I am still traveling with that companion, and I'm trying to do research into them so that I can save them. Lying!
Perhaps we can, um, research such a thing, but you might find, things that play mind games are usually just extremely powerful, so maybe they were just messing with your friend purely because your friend is weak in relation. But we can certainly look into entities and curses that are related to bloodsucking. Um, but does that seem sufficient to you?
It does. Thank you. I'm exceedingly worried, and these travels have done nothing to alleviate it.
So if you don't go into more details about that this thing essentially entered your mind, they are assuming in that conversation that by mind games you mean somebody who's like monologuing to you, sort of mind games. Someone who essentially looks down on you, not necessarily the situation that you have with Warlow.
Ah, well, then he would absolutely go into the detail of something that enters the mind and potentially the dreams of the victim.
Interesting. Huh. Well, that seems quite frightening. Um, hmm.
It was a terrifying transformation to witness. He was such a good man.
Well, we can certainly try to find some solutions here for you.
Thank you. I appreciate anything you can find out. If there is some way to help him, I will.
You see as they kind of like head off and speak to Gastro for a few moments, and you see as he kind of hands them each a piece of paper. It seems to be sealed. From a distance, you would be able to recognize at least that this is sealed essentially under his order to give them access to where they might be going, and hands them each a small coin purse.
Oh, Gasto, I was willing to pay for it. I didn't want you to take it of your own.
You need not worry. With a smaller search, the Order can certainly cover this for you. We are not without access to such places, but it will also give these to what they might need to accomplish. I believe we might be hear from them within the 10-day. It will be perhaps up to chance if they find something better and sooner, but we shall see.
Thank you. I appreciate this intensely. And now I have to go, unfortunately, and rejoin those companions I spoke of. I worry leaving him alone for so long.
Are you there, Doc?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
So are you just sitting outside? He's probably been gone for like an hour or hour 15. Is there anything that you were trying to do in that time?
Probably just be like smoking, hanging out, drinking. If there's a close little like pub within eye shot, I maybe go over and refill my flask.
You would have been near the a pub where you all got your housing is basically right next door. So if you wanted to on that level, you could have basically refilled your flask already.
Oh yeah, I probably would have like waited around for about 15 minutes, then like looked over my shoulder a couple times, moseyed on over to the pub, got an ale, loaded up my flask, and then probably just be like kind of hanging around outside, smoking and drinking, waiting for him to come out.
So probably shortly after you gave up on that and headed back and like went to the actual pub. Yeah, I think shortly after probably leaving the pub, around like a half hour later, it's probably been about like 2 or so hours since you all left the halls of justice. You would feel like a vibration in your emblem, and then after a moment it starts to heat up, and then you hear a voice in your head. Hello, this is Toran. We have received some information that will perhaps be necessary for you to hear and be passed along. You can find Mirtag at the Tavern of the Flagon Dragon. He will be sitting towards the back in a larger table. Well, you may actually miss him entirely. The table is likely much larger than. But yes, please, when you have a moment, head to the Flagon and the Dragon and find him there.
Affirmative. I'll be at the Flagon Dragon Cantina in sometime shortly.
It's well, it's not quite a cantina. It's Tavern of the Flagon Dragon. It's just to the west and a little bit south of where we were located at the Halls of Justice. It might not be unfamiliar to you, but if you are lost in the city, you can find it to the west of the market, below the cliffs. You'll actually see the streets from the cliffs themselves almost lead directly towards it. And then it's the one with a dragon holding a flagon of ale. And you would immediately recognize that this is where you just left.
Tavern of the Flagon Dragon. I'm quite familiar with that bar there.
So you are essentially heading back to the Halls of Justice at that point. Do you want to wait for Tynus, or do you intend to go back and meet with Mirtag?
So how long has it been roughly since I saw Tynus last?
Let me have you roll a D100 and Tynus roll a D100.
Aye, aye.
So we're going with, it's been probably about 35 minutes since you've seen Tynus.
35 minutes. I guess I'll go back and meet up with Mirtag first, assuming that he's probably going to take a while.
And then Tynus, let me have you roll another D100.
Okie doke.
Oh yeah, okay. So as you enter back into the Tavern of the Flagon Dragon, you kind of like look around, and it's a busy enough bar. There seems to be quite a few different people. There's multiple levels to it. There's a few tables on the lower level. What is that? That's 6 different tables. And towards the back, there is a single large table with a tiny little gnome that you would recognize as Mirtag sitting in that corner. And after a few moments, you see him kind of waving to you. His hand barely comes over the tabletop.
I'll go towards him. It's all black on my screen, though, just a heads up.
Bad fog of war.
Got it. Affirmative. Hello, little friend. Wasn't expecting to see you again this soon, but I do like your choice of establishment. And I'll like wave over for a couple ales.
I probably won't be drinking. Ales can be pretty strong when you're nice and big like me.
He like smirks
Oh.
at you a little slyly.
No worries, my friend. I've been known to drink more than one myself, so.
So, we're kind of gonna be meeting someone else here. I'm not sure when we can expect him, but we understand that you've already met one of the people we're working with. You're working with somebody who's closely tied to the task at hand.
And he kind of like points up at the ceiling of the bar.
Understood. I like your code, so to speak. And Doc will pull out a cigarette and offer him one. And what is the name of this person or creature or whatever that I may be already acquainted with?
I think he goes by Salmon.
Solomon. How convenient indeed.
Solomon. Yeah, I guess that could be it. That seems a little bit weird.
Salmon.
I believe Salmon is his middle name.
No, I'm pretty sure it's his first name.
No worries.
Salmon Solomon Fisher.
Oh, just out of curiosity, when is he supposed to arrive? I sort of left my party unexpectedly to meet you here.
Oh, I didn't really expect you to be here this soon. I actually just left the halls of justice. I think he should be here soon, but I'm not really sure when. We kind of just figured it was gonna be like a little bit of tonight that we would spend having some conversations about the task at hand.
And you see as he like opens like a little bit of a pouch that's like sitting at his side, and he like looks inside. You see like a little bit of like a disappointment on his face, and he's like,
Yeah, I think you've got plenty of time still. I don't think there's any big rush right now.
What would the inclination be when he looks into the pouch like that? What would I have an idea what he was looking at or what he was implying?
you can do an Arcana check, and then do an Insight as well. Actually, Arcana's enough that you're vaguely aware. Shit, I let your background.
Oh no, I got a 3. It was double roll.
Oh, the double roll. Word. Yeah, do an Insight as well. Soldier background. Yeah, holy shit. It seems like he's just like looking for something in his pouch. Perhaps he had a piece of paper or something to hand to you, and forgot it back at work. So maybe he's going to be heading back to the halls of justice. It's hard to really tell.
All right. Well, no worries. I wasn't really sure what the time frame was. I'm not that familiar with like magical amulets and voices in my head, so to speak. Then perhaps we'll rendezvous back here in a bit. Then.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'll be waiting, and hopefully Solomon will be here soon.
All right. Perfect. I'll be back before you miss me. And I'll pay for the drinks or whatever, chug one, and then sort of walk out the door like with a little extra pep in my step.
As you're chugging, you hear like a little bit of a chuckle, and he slaps you on your back, and he's like, "Before I miss you."
All right, and then I'll just head back to the temple to.
Overall, you would then kind of wait outside, smoking and drinking for what I think the better part of an hour before Tynus kind of pops out. A few scribes would leave probably shortly before him, but you all can basically return there and instruct him that you are basically called to meet at the Flagon of the Dragon, or the Tavern of the Flagon Dragon.
You wouldn't believe the coincidence if I told you, Tynus. Wasn't a moment after you stepped inside the doors that my little pager started going off, and stepped over here just next door and met back up with me attack, and he informed me that we've got a contact that we're supposed to rendezvous with shortly at the Flagon Dragon right over here. And just coincidentally happens to be our friend, my friend, the one and only. And I'll kind of keep my voice down and say Solomon.
Tynus will say, I'm not familiar with a Solomon.
Oh, I'm not sure if you actually ever officially met him. We were sort of doing our own thing in the caravan, but he was the gentleman that was buried to his neck deep in the middle of the road there. I sort of, I saved his life.
Oh, the Oathbreaker. I was
Yes,
wondering who
that is the
stopped for
one.
them.
Yes, and the truth is that he revealed the truth was basically that he was captured by cultists and left for dead. But I knew there was a little more to his story.
And you've determined he's a contact for us?
According to our little friend Mirtak, we'll meet him shortly and get a little more information. And with that, I'll offer you a drink of my flask. And I guess we'll just walk back over to the Flagon Dragon.
Yeah. Tynus will totally follow you and fill you in on the update that he has basically sent out some people to research whatever kind of curse is on him right now.
Well, that's good. Hopefully, they can find the source of your ailments or at least a cure. Were they suspicious of you? Last time you had mentioned that they didn't exactly approve of your situation.
Thankfully, this time I was speaking with an old friend and mentor, so I believe he probably smoothed over the situation quite a bit for me.
Makes sense.
For now, do you know when we're meant to be meeting, Solomon?
I actually already spoke with Miatak, and he's waiting on us now, and Solomon should arrive anytime. So, with that, I guess like as we arrive at the bar, I would just go back over to Miatak.
Yep, Tynus will wait with him.
Solomon at some point would have joined while you all were away. The two seem to be kind of pleasantly engaged in conversation as you all walk up, or rather as you all enter. And you would see as the two kind of wave you forward to join them as you enter this tavern. Seems a little bit busier. It's probably like approaching towards dusk in the evening, and you hear like a loud kind of, not necessarily roar, but there's like a loud din of music, or not music, of like conversation, including music, across this whole place, from like the upper floors through this lower level as well.
Nice. Then Tynus will join them at the table along with Doc. I guess this would be his first formal meeting with Solomon. Hey,
Hello, Jamie.
nice.
Hey, welcome back. Hopefully, your meeting went well.
Decently. Late start, late finish, but okay overall.
Alrighty. Uh, in the interim, Tynus went to his temple and got some sent out some researchers for his vampire affliction, and now we're meeting with Solomon at the Dragon Flagon to discuss, cult things.
To discuss cult things is hilarious.
Yeah, Mirtak rang me up on my little amulet pager and let me know that he has some information for us. And then it turns out that our contact is actually going to be Solomon, who's the guy I saved along the caravan. So, and I'm about 40% day drunk.
Only 40%? Make a constitution saving throw?
Maybe worse. We'll find out. 23. So I should be pretty day drunk, but not too day drunk.
I think it feels pretty typical for you that no matter how much you drink, you don't actually feel the effects of it. It seems probably at this point in your life a bit more like a curse for how much you enjoy the drink, that it seems so ineffective.
You've metabolized too much alcohol, my friend.
I think they sold me some fake whiskey. I don't feel a thing.
Well, lucky you.
No, it's real. It tastes excellent.
kind of looking across the party, Solomon kind of like eyes each person for a few moments, and you see like little nods almost of recognition between you all, as he... I was beginning to wonder. I had a vague thought that you all might be intertwined.
Yes, it's good to see you again, my friend. Wasn't expecting to run into you so soon. Formally now, we were obviously a little covert along the way. No intention of deception, but this is Vicious, my orc friend, and Tanis, who is a healer of sorts.
Vicious, Tinus, kind of like nods to each of you, and then he chuckles a little bit as a like sly little smirk crosses his face, and he's like, well, you're no Harpers, but you certainly can imagine that you were covert.
Tinus will look down a little at that. Actually, we are.
But I don't know how to make music
You believe
like
that
a
you're
harper.
covert?
It was a first attempt at covert.
Oh, you are intriguing. And he like looks over at Mirtag and he's like, okay, I was under the impression that they had two with them. I didn't realize. Interesting. Okay. All right. Really? And he kind of looks over you two again for a few moments.
Tinus will do the gesture that he saw Gemna doing and place a hand over his chest.
No need to show your emblem, that's fine. Some things are best kept secret.
Certainly. For now, this is, I believe, Gauntlet, a Gauntlet meeting. I'm not sure what information was directly exchanged between you and Doc, but I'm glad to listen and provide anything that I can.
Well, this is kind of bigger than all of us. Torin actually got a hold of Froome and Earlhander, so we're kind of
kind of like looking around, like nobody seems to be reacting.
we're kind of in the process of managing a few different accounts to try to gather everyone.
And you see as Solomon kind of like drops his hand a little bit towards the table with like two little pats almost to the top of the table. Well, I've been able to track where many of the wagons from our train returned to. Most went pretty well straight through the city and are resting in the North Ward. At present, they have they're in a warehouse for a trading company that seems to have a contract between here and Neverwinter. We understand that they are rebuilding the high road for Lord Daggalt Neverember. And he like pulls out like his little bit of like a notepad, and kind of like flips through a few pieces of parchment. The High Road Charter Company seems to be hiring from many different taverns in the area, trying to find workers who are willing to go into the Mere of Dead Men. It would appear that at that point, Briefhue, Andred Briefhue is hiring all of these people, trying to find workers who can work the road. It would appear that in the last few months it has again expanded to consume another portion of the high road, and that seems to be where they've stored their wagons.
I see. Certainly an opportunity in that.
I have been tasked with heading into the north once again, and hopefully find employ I have some expertise in labor and believe that it should be a rather easy solution to join up once again with this crew and once again follow their wagons.
I was thinking just the same. You said they're hiring from taverns.
It's the easiest place to find laborers, as I understand. Kind of like nods over to Meertag. He's like,
Yeah, a lot of people have been going missing up there. It's actually been quite a problematic thing. Like the Mere of Dead Men, a lot of people die up there, and Mere of Dead Men seems to be where people go missing. And I'm pretty sure there's a roadhouse there, and that's where most of the work's being done out of. It's pretty close to where most of the Mere's actually overtaken the road, and it's been a pretty regular spot where employees have been going. So it's kind of a lot of poorer people from Waterdeep have been going up there.
What would you say is the best method to go about getting hired from a tavern then? Just to loiter around and wait for someone to come ask for workers?
well, the other viable option is to head to the charter company itself and search for Andred under the guise of being sent there for employ. But in any fashion, it shouldn't be difficult, as, alright, you've already done away with your weapons, but if you arrive armed, most armed can simply attend and find employ if they're willing to go there. As I understand, they find plenty who are willing to go to dangerous ventures, but it is often most difficult to find those who go there to fight as well. So perhaps going in under the guise of being guards will be, once again, the way that you approach this situation.
Quite like our old operation. Hopefully this one will provide more fruitful information.
Yes, perhaps we can get started with a little more discretion than last time and give everybody a wink.
Yes, our first attempt. Well then, I suppose that will be our next course of action. Uh, hmm. I'd hoped to remain in the city for just a bit longer before advancing to something else, but would you say this is immediate? Should we jump on this as quickly as possible?
I have found my own lodging in the Gut Bomb Tavern up on the North District. I am near the northern gate. I intend to keep enough of an eye to see when the next train will be leaving. I believe we will find all of those same wagons will be leaving then. But perhaps it is best to understand you're likely to have day, maybe two at most, while they rest their horses. But perhaps being ready to leave at the drop of a switch will be the best way to go. I don't believe you'll find the cult waiting for you.
Will you be traveling along with us, my friend?
I have been charged with joining them, and I intend to go as a tradesman, intent on helping to build the road. I have some experience in the jungles of Chult, and believe that I can be quite useful for the clearing of the paths ahead.
Will be good to have you at our side and an additional set of eyes to watch our backs as we'll watch yours. Meatak, will you be able to contact me and let me know when the time is right?
I don't have any powers at all.
Sorry, I meant like in the great, like your boss.
Oh, yeah,
Torin?
definitely. That shouldn't be a
Okay,
problem
and,
at all. I'm pretty sure.
He kind of like points to your chest.
I'm pretty sure he's got access to you from now on.
Okay, perfect. And as far as not having any powers at all, don't sell yourself short. I'm sure you've got something that you're overlooking.
Kind of like pats the satchel that he has to his side. He's like,
I am overlooking it.
What you got in there out of curiosity? I noticed that you were kind of thumbing around in it earlier, like you were gonna say something or give me something.
kind of like leans in a little bit closer.
Well, this is a pretty convenient magical item. It allows Torin to pass me information when he needs to. He puts a piece of paper or something else in his bag, and it shows up in mine.
That's really strange.
Yes, that's really struck my curiosity. Is that like a two-way door, or only from him to you?
That's actually the most frightening thing I've ever heard. I've reached in here so many times and never worried about my arm being cut off until that moment. I, oh no. Oh, 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 I, I really hope it's just paper, but I don't know. Torin never told me.
Have you ever actually like put something back inside there? That like, does it disappear or does it just stay in there?
Like parchment. I have like
So
wax
if you like,
seals. I
if you
reach
put
in
a
with
piece
my
of
hand.
parchment, if you put a piece of parchment in there, like, do you have to close it and then it just like disappears by the next time you open it, or is it like instant while you're looking?
I usually only look every once in a while. I've never seen something arrive while I'm looking, but I don't know how it works.
Interesting. I'm just curious. I'm not too familiar with magic myself. I just feel like curiosity would have gotten the best of me. I'm sure I would have sat around just probably drinking all day and staring at it until I saw something appear or disappear, but no worries.
I'm pretty worried. I like my arms.
It's worked so far.
Yeah, I'm sure you're fine. I don't think Torin would do anything to hurt you. You seem like a rather nice fella. I'm sure he'd rather keep you around with both your arms and hands than missing one.
Yeah, but I only have two. So I can only risk so much before I'm down to one.
Yeah, I wouldn't make more than 2 mistakes if I were you.
Oh, man. I don't know what to do.
Just pretend I never brought it up, my friend. You'll be fine.
Yes, don't think about it. That always works.
I'm not sure how that works.
Well, you have to not think about it, and then it works.
You can't not think about it because you're thinking about it right now. So, all right. So it sounds like we're all set then. We've got basically like a day to kill here in town, and then we can expect a call to action here sometime in the near future. So we will stay ready, pick up our gear, and be prepared. When the time is right, have Torin give us a little heads up, and we'll make sure that we're in the region.
Yeah,
Before we
Torin
do
doesn't
go,
work for the company, so it's probably best if you guys get hired.
No, I just meant, oh, yeah, okay, we can go down there and get hired in the meantime and then just kind of wait around.
Yeah.
before we do go, I had a question for you, Solomon. Um, Along the way, I encountered a woman named Gemna Gleamsilver. She left along with you. Were you working with her?
I wasn't aware of anybody in particular.
Well, I more or less confirmed that she was another Harper traveling with the caravan. I had anticipated that, well, I thought that maybe you were working with her, but I suppose not now. Have you heard anything about her since she entered the city? Because she did separate from us when the other part of the caravan did.
I'm not aware of anyone by that name, but it wouldn't be surprising to know that there are Harpers that I don't know, and he looks at both you and Vicious. What did this Gemna, seem to wear? What did she look like?
Going into the notes, give me 1 second.
I mean, overall, like, if you recognize anything about her, you can say, or you can just say I describe her, because she was a small gnome wearing all black, seemed to arrive when you were all in Daggerford.
Yep, I just pulled up the page in my notes that told me her race and where we met her. So, yeah, he would have said she was a gnome who was dressed in all black, and she came into the caravan in Daggerford along with another suspicious individual who she seemed to have been trailing.
Hmm. I do believe I recall seeing her when the caravan separated towards the end there, and I definitely recognize the other who seemed to be traveling. He most certainly entered into the warehouse when the wagons were taken in.
I see. Well, that just goes to confirm it even more then. Thank you. I was just curious about that.
Yes, I'll have to inquire a little bit deeper into who this Gemna is. I'm not entirely aware of her affiliations.
You may encounter her again if the person she's trailing uh, joined this warehouse. So it might be best to know some more about her.
Certainly sounds like she could be a harper. Certainly sounds like she's at least good at her job.
Certainly more than I. Uh, hmm. If you do find out anything about her, please let me know. While I am confident she's a harper, there's also the possibility that she's simply a very good spy. As you can tell, I'm not the very best at identifying these things.
What impression did you have that she was a harper?
She was able to complete the oath.
Oath. You would
Oath is
most
not the
certainly
right
recall
word.
that when Laosin gave you all that line, damn, I can't remember Laosin's um guy's name. It was one of the monks underneath him. But when he gave you that line, it was a line that Laosin would recognize and finish. It was not necessarily anything that was in particular secret.
Ooh, well, Tinus will say, yes, it was those who. Oh, wait, hold on. Back to the other page, because I wrote it on a separate page.
I mean, it's fine enough that you can repeat it to him. He would be like, someone with at least a little bit of a scholar's background wouldn't be unsurprising to finish that for you. Was there anything else that confirmed her to you?
She repeatedly made the gesture of touching her chest, as
Intriguing.
if the symbol of recognition of the emblem there.
Was she sharing information? Or were you simply telling her information?
You know, now I think about it, she didn't tell me anything.
Intriguing. It seems like perhaps she may have been pretending to be what you had hoped she or what she was. But we will see. We will find out more about her shortly, I am sure.
Yes, I'm now worried that I might have tipped my hand even more than I thought.
Well, with any luck, she was a member of the Emerald Enclave, or perhaps one of the Gauntlet. And he nods to Doc and Murtagh. But with time, we will find out all things. Certainly, we cannot change what has happened if it has been someone who is not of the Harpers.
I'm going to have to look into a new traveler's attire. That was just Tinus talking to himself now. Thank you. If that's all, and he will just look at the rest of the party. Did you all have anything else? That was my own curiosity.
No, nothing for me.
Well, I do believe I will return towards the north end, and in the North Ward, hopefully find out some more information. Murtagh, if you can instruct Torin to look into this Gemna, that would be useful. Perhaps he is able to manage a little bit of magic into this situation.
Yeah, I'm sure he won't be an ass about it, but we can definitely ask. Do you have anything that you took from her? Is there any sort of, I don't know, trinket that she gave you? Did you cut any of her hair off? Maybe I don't know. Do you have any of her blood?
No, I don't have any possession of hers.
All right. So good old bureaucracy it is. We'll see what we can find.
Wait a minute, hold on. Did I give her something and she give it back to me? I
I
have to
don't.
watch.
I don't believe
I'd
there
have to
was
look over
any
the last
exchange of
episode.
anything.
Yeah, I didn't make any note of any kind of exchange, so yeah, for now, yeah, you gotta know on that one.
What a strange and rather specific series of questioning.
Well, it was a very strange and rather specific set of events.
Oh yeah, I'm just pretty sure, like, if she were to scry on this person, if you had like an object of her, it'd be easier to do.
What do you mean scry on the person? Would I be familiar with scrying?
I don't see why you would.
Like using a magical globe to kind of look through everything and like see from that person's eyes. Magic.
And Doc will immediately like sort of put his hand up towards the amulet and say, just warn Torin not to spy on me late at night. He might see some things that he's not prepared to see.
Yeah, I have a feeling if you scry, you're probably used to those kind of things, and you either like it or you get over the mental scars.
All right. Well, let's just say when you've been around as long as I have, that sometimes things get a little weird.
Tynus is going to look at you with intense confusion. Bit of concern thrown in there too. Just weird.
A little weird. Sounds like you've got some gnome in you.
Gnome? This is a conversation operating far above his head.
It's okay. A priest wouldn't get this kind of thing.
Knowing Doc, it might be best I don't. I will temper my curiosity on this one.
You'd see as Miratag kind of opens up the satchel again and kind of like peeks like, oh,
You're going to put your hand in?
Damn it, I already forgot. Why'd you have to ask? Here.
and you see as Miratag like opens the satchel into your direction and there's a piece of parchment inside of it.
Tynus will reach in and take out the paper.
Another success.
My hand is fine.
Hey, is there anything else in that satchel? Can you just use it to put your stuff in?
I feel like this might be beyond your... I'm sorry, I shouldn't talk bad about an orc. What do you mean?
Well, when I have a bag, I can put things in it, little one.
Talking slow doesn't make it make more sense. Well, yeah, you can put stuff in here.
Does it stay in there, or does it get teleported or moved away? Or is it only parchment that disappears?
Put your hand inside?
Oh, man. I want to roll. Can I roll wisdom to see if Tynus tries that?
You can certainly do it.
Insatiable
You're
curiosity.
always welcome to roll dice to try to interpret how your character takes stuff. That sounds like a yes.
He is putting his hand in that bag.
Roll a D100.
No!
50, right on the dot.
You put your hand inside. Don't really feel anything. You pull your hand out. Nothing really seems different.
Shake it all about. Okey pokey.
Well, from what I can tell, it seems to be a normal bag unless you're sending parchment. That would be my guess. So, to answer your question, Vicious, yes, he can store things in there.
Well, then it's more handy than whatever you're talking than mailing things.
Well, like, mailing. Like it doesn't have a gender. It's just a piece of paper.
I just figured you'd be able to send messages between cities and stuff with people on a caravan, like mail.
Holy shit! That's exactly what it's for. How'd you get that? How much orc is in you?
And he like pokes your face, like right between your eyes.
We'll poke him back.
Falls off the table.
Holy shit, like relax yourself. Seriously, like what are you? Are you like less orc than the green? Because you seem really green.
I'm a half orc. I have some orc and some human. I am not a pet.
Well, yeah, I mean, you don't look like a pet.
We never got that
Must
leash.
be a lot more human than orc, because that's kind of surprising that you understood what this was. Doesn't really make sense. Somebody tell you? You have magic?
Pokes you again.
You should stop poking me.
Well, I mean, I'm just curious. Like, are you magical?
No, I kill things.
No, she's magical. You should see her drool.
I'm good. I kind of like living. Oh, a little bit more than I like my arms. But, bye!
Mirtag ends up hopping up and walks out.
And with that, I believe this would be a good time for us to head out as well. We have to get ready, and I want to buy some new clothes. Or I guess a better disguise, as it were.
What kind of disguise? I don't think I can wear a disguise.
Oh, this is going to be another one of those occasions where we're trying not to be immediately identified together. So, you may not need to disguise yourself. Most people don't take note of an orc's features in terms of detail, just that it's an orc.
Solomon
I'm
chugs his
not
ale.
real good at this diplomacy and spy thing. You gotta tell me what to kill.
Solomon like chugs his ale, and like in the middle of a burp, he's just like, not looking like an orc would be a good disguise.
Well, that would be difficult.
I believe there's some magic that could make you not look like an orc.
Not to change the subject, but are there any particular items that we need to restock up on? How's your healing kit looking, Vicious? Any particular weapons or anything that we need to get while we're here in town?
We should probably make our general stocking up in general. More healers kits. Anything else we may need. Since we are in Waterdeep, this is probably the best chance we have to find anything in particular.
I've got 7 to 10 uses of healing kit remaining. We don't seem to use that much at any given point, but I can get more band-aids.
7 to 10? Like, is that 3 remain?
All right, 7 of 10 remaining. That didn't make any sense.
Anywhere between this range.
Well, it depends on how, much bandaging you need.
Nope.
What's it cost to refill that?
What is it? I think it's 5 gold for a healing kit.
Alright, so that's going to be general stocking up stuff we do.
Yeah, mine still has 7 of 10 uses. I still have 7 rations.
Tinus
Plenty
hasn't
of
even
bolts.
used his years yet.
Does somebody need to get a disguise kit?
Yeah, Tinus is going to be getting a disguise kit.
Does anybody have proficiency with a disguise kit?
Tinus doesn't. Anyone else?
No, I've got proficiency with navigator's tools. Those come in real handy.
Yeah, so it'd be arbitrary who gets one, but it would be a start to give you a chance. But realistically, you're going to encounter a pretty similar situation almost regardless when you are traveling with a half-orc. Most people, their initial response will be fear. Their second response will be, what the fuck is an orc doing here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we'll necessarily be able to disguise like her race or whatever. And I don't think it's necessarily that important that we disguise Tinus, because I think probably the people that were accusing him of murder probably don't actually give a shit, even if they were cultists. So I don't think we'll really have any issue on either one of those fronts. But I was just throwing it out there.
I was thinking more of disguising Tinus because at this point, since the cultists are aware of what even this, like initially he looked like his normal priestly robes. Because of the interaction with the cult, they knew what he would look like in that form. And now, assuming the cult is going to continue sharing information about suspicious persons, they would know what he looks like now too. So, like, just on the level of not looking like the same person who's just happens to be following along, at least at the very least, a new outfit and definitely getting rid of this flail. But from my mind, it would be just to get a proper disguise kit and maybe trim his hair or something, just to give him some level of I'm not the exact same guy. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna be. That's again all of the general shopping stuff. I don't trying to think if I want to look for like a magical item or anything. I don't think so.
All right. Well, I reset mine to indicate the healing kit, but I guess I should get food.
I think we're pretty broke. I doubt we could afford any magic items.
Yeah, you're right. We don't have any money for it. So yeah, I'll do the normal housekeeping of subtracting gold from the party loot to buy all of our stock ups, and from there, I guess we'll head back to the Sapphire Inn. Oh, that also happened while you were out, Jamie. We got lodging at an inn in the North Ward, so we
Not
didn't
in the
go
red
to the
light
ocean.
district.
Oh, I mean, the red light district can be anywhere you want it to be, but basically, what I'm saying, we didn't end up going down to find an ocean view lodging.
Yeah, so the
But we
actual
got
Sapphire Inn is right next door to the Tavern of the Flagon Dragon. So you're literally already where your place is.
So should we grab our equipment and attempt to get secure some positions immediately, or shall we wait until tomorrow?
It's getting late. We should wait for the morning. So yeah, Tynus will head back to the inn. 5 gold for the healer's kit. Are we all rations are gold for 10, right?
Yeah, I have 7 right now, so I definitely just get another 10 myself.
Yeah, that's
Actions
what I'm
are
doing for
pretty
Tynus.
heavy though, so keep that in mind. Yeah, it's 5 silver per ration. So it is 5 for 10, 5 gold for 10.
We can divide that up to just fill up everyone up to 10 then.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. So just give me 3 of whatever.
Tynus is going to need. Tynus needs 5 himself to cover his rations. So that'll leave. Vicious, how many rations do you have?
I have 10. I never subtracted any, I don't think.
Oh wait, my bad. I have 14 left, so I have plenty.
Oh, well then we'll just split it between me and Vicious. So 5 for each of us.
I saw the 7 GP. That's like what they're worth, but I actually have 14.
All right, so I'm at 15. Yeah, this is heavy. It's 30 pounds. All right.
30 pounds.
I need 2 more crossbow bolts.
Pretty sure you can buy crossbow bolts by the 10 for.
So would they fit if I just got 10?
What's your question there?
Well, I've got them in a quiver. So do I just fill it to 20 or can I fill it to 28?
I mean, that's pretty arbitrary. You would not be able to put all of your crossbow bolts inside of the normal quiver that you might have, but that doesn't mean that you cannot still carry them.
Well, can we take it to 20 and then, I don't know, give Tynus some sort of price to take the money down by?
Like, you want to throw away crossbow bolts so you can only carry 20?
No, I mean, couldn't you just buy 2?
The merchant will sell you 20. Wait,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
the
just
merchant
buy.
will sell them by 10.
Yeah, they're so cheap. Just buy 10 or however many you need, and then just have extras so that when you lose them in the future, you go down to 20 or whatever.
Okay, I'll do that. And I need, let's see, I've only got 1 javelin left. Can I get 3 javelins? I've never understood how one carries javelins around. They're 5 feet long.
No, they have a 5-foot reach.
All right, that's subtracted.
Let me see how many throwing knives I have.
Yeah, crossbow bolts are 5 silver for 10.
Okay.
And then you can buy your javelins by individual pieces for 5 silver a javelin.
Raz, you tracking this, or should I be taking it off mine?
No, I'm doing the math for you.
All right, because like half orcs aren't real good at counting.
I like the implication that you are a half orc in real life, Jeremy.
Yeah, I'm good. I still have 14 daggers. I have 17 arrows. I'm good on everything, I think.
How do you carry 14 daggers? Where are these things on your body? That's hilarious.
I have like little dagger sheaths like all over. So like anywhere I reach, I can like pull a dagger out at any time. And thanks to the kobold's weapon of choice, I was able to secure quite a few early.
Party loot is updated.
Yeah, I never found what like feat I was tripping on that I felt like was designed for throwing characters, but I do think that like a dual fighter one is the closest that actually lets you really draw the knives at the speed that you were presently drawing them.
Well, I thought we discussed it and you said that part of the attack was like pulling out the weapon. So it was okay to do 3 in a turn.
Well,
But it was
what
only
I
if I
meant,
want to
though,
switch from my bow.
Yeah, what I meant though is that I was under the impression that part of making an attack was that you could draw the weapon, but it's more part of making the attack lets you use your free action to draw the weapon. So it still uses up the free action. So it's not something where you can infinitely throw daggers as like an actual attack. Like you have to eventually throw your daggers and then switch to your bow basically to remain like functional.
Oh yeah, but I could throw 3 in a turn if I need to though. Like 2 for my attack and then 1 for my bonus action, right? Because I would have like 2 daggers and then pull out the third one as my free interaction. But then the next turn I would have to like pull out my bow or like my sword instead. Is that what you're saying?
Vaguely, part of what I'm inclined to do is have you take that actual feat so you can draw your 2 weapons in the future to make that more viable. Even though it wouldn't necessarily change how you are acting, but it would actually be a little bit more complete of a way to be able to draw 2 weapons in a single turn.
Oh yeah, I'm cool with that if that's what you want me to do. I took the crossbow feat instead for my last one, but I could switch it if you want me to.
Yeah, I think that would probably be better if you had that 2-handed fighting feat. Or realistically just picked one and changed that style, but I think the 2-handed fighting feat would go a little more properly with how you are playing. I'm really not sure. Like, I swear I read a feat that was straight up, like, designed for dagger throwers. But I was reading, like, 3 different manuals at the same time that week.
Yeah, I don't know. I looked through like everything and then I Googled it and couldn't find anything. The only thing I found was 2-weapon, or not 2-weapon fighting, but the feat.
So not to interrupt, but the disguise kit's going to cost us 25 gold pieces, which is half of our current gold. So party decision, do we want to splurge on that?
I've still got 18 gold, so if you want that, that's fine. I just don't know how well we can do with a disguise kit.
I don't know to what level we could potentially disguise vicious or tinus going forward. At that point, it might be better to buy like. No, we wouldn't even have enough money for something like that. Ah. Yeah, I guess for now, I guess we'll stow that idea for now. Still gonna have Tinus buy a different set of clothing though. Ba-ba-da.
You think I should get different clothing?
In my mind, we should all change how we look since we're going on another mission involving the cult. But that might be me as a player being, you know, what you call it, paranoid.
I could get different clothing, but I'm still gonna have the same face.
Yeah, that's true.
And Vicious will gladly get something different if there's something that will fit.
All right, I took dual wielder instead, so I'm good whenever.
I mean, it's a big city. There's got to be some kind of clothing available.
I don't think it's the availability that's the question, more of the necessity in everyone else's mind. To me, it makes it sense, but if everyone else doesn't think so, I'm willing to stow the idea.
Well, for 25 gold, can you actually do anything with a disguise kit? I mean, I could buy a really fancy makeup set, and I'm still not going to look like, I don't know, whoever.
Oh no, I dropped the idea of disguise kit. I'm just thinking different clothes. The cost of a different set of clothing is much less than a disguise kit.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to matter either way because I'm pretty sure they're just going to be like, wait, those are the same 3 people that were in our caravan before.
Yeah, it's true. I guess assuming they took note of our faces at the very least. So yeah, all right. I'm gonna table the idea of changing the whole clothes thing. I'm still having Tynus get rid of his flail though.
Yeah, get rid of the murder weapon. Good idea.
Yeah, exactly.
You
And
notice there's
Yeah, that-
pieces of brain
yeah.
stuck to it, dried up.
Yeah, we're gonna get rid of that. Let's kick that under a trash bin somewhere.
I still don't believe that Tynus actually killed someone. Doesn't he do 0 damage with this flail?
Oh yeah, that was a setup. The only people Tynus has killed is those guards to break out of the city. He didn't
just-
actually kill anyone with his flail.
He
He
does
does actually 0
damage. He does 0 damage unarmed.
Is it unarmed? I remembered he was -1 damage. So I think the one time he attacked with his flail and rolled a 1 and then got -1 to his damage. But I was just busting his chops. That's all.
Yeah,
I
feel
know,
like he
I make
was
that joke all the time
smacking-
too.
He was hitting the drunk cultist unarmed and did 0 damage.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was. It was still funny regardless.
Oh yeah, rolling a 0. That's hilarious. But yeah, so Tynus stows his hammer. Other than that, are we ready to just like pass the time to actually going and getting our jobs?
Yeah, we can skip ahead. I'm gonna assume that Doc gets hammered drunk tonight and finds a prostitute. So, do you want me to roll something to see like Constitution save and also see how much money I spend?
Let's see. Let's do another Constitution for your drinking. So you do
I'm gonna do-
successfully get. What do you?
My bad. I was gonna say I'll just spend a luck to try to make sure I'm not like overly hungover. So yeah, 18 for the Constitution save.
All right, so you don't get drunk. You spend the night drinking. So roll a D100 for me.
20.
Spend 20 silver. You were buying swill.
Perfect.
And then let's see. Roll a perception check.
12.
Yeah, you're able to find the convivial society. You are able to get a whore. And let's see. Let's
Hello, hooker. Hopefully I don't fall in love.
roll a D12.
6. Oh wait, did I fuck something up?
No, the 6 was a perception check. It was like the double roll in the perception. 9 was the D12. So you pay her 9 silver for the evening, but you do wake up the next day missing 18 silver.
So 27 total silver, is that what it was?
No, my bad. You paid twice as much. 18 total silver. So I think overall you spent 3 gold, 7 silver. 3 gold, 8 silver rather.
Perfect. Okay, all good.
Hey,
Doc and his silly exploits.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
I still can't figure out how to start a character from within the campaign. So should I share the link for the character I started making?
If you click the campaign link, that will take you to the D&D Beyond campaign, Lone Strangers, and you should be able to click at the bottom of that to create an unassigned character. Otherwise, if you go to Vicious, you should be able to click back to campaign The Lone Strangers and do the same thing. Just scroll down and click create an unassigned character. I believe it will ask you if you want to turn one of your characters into that character, but it really doesn't matter how you go about doing it. So you all are able to basically do your shopping that next day on Uktar the 26th. Most of the day goes by while you are going about accomplishing all of your needs. And then you can basically head into the North District. Does anybody remember where Solomon told you to meet him? Or basically to try to get hired?
I have it in my notes, but I actually have a phone call, so I'll be back in a second.
No,
Oh, yeah.
I
My bad. I wrote it down. Oh, wait. The Fields of Triumph. That's not what it was.
Fields of Triumph are near Highness's temple.
No, that was the fight place, wasn't it? The Fields of Triumph?
Yep.
Oh, Andrade. We need to ask for Andrade, and it was...
What was his organization?
Oh, shit. I just wrote down Andrade for potential employer, and that he was... And then I wrote question mark cult. I didn't get the name of the organization itself.
Assuming that Roz has it, you guys know where to go. But at present, what are you two doing? What do you two have in mind? Do you remember where Solomon was staying?
Man, I didn't catch that. The name of the place he was staying?
Roll intelligence for me, Doc.
No, I don't have that written down on here.
Alright, so you all are able to recall that if you head to any of the taverns in the North District, it seems that that's where they are hiring out of. But you do recall Andred as the person who seems to be in charge of this next train to be heading out. You can perhaps use those as clues to move forward.
Yeah, I just wrote North Andred employer and then cult with a question mark. Okay, yeah. So I guess we will. It's like morning time then. We'll eat some
No,
grub.
it would
and
be
then-
like midday. You guys basically did all of that shopping before this.
Oh, that was all same day. Oh, okay,
No,
okay.
it's the next day, but like half of the day. It's like essentially getting on to evening.
Oh, okay. I got you. We got drunk, went shopping the next day, and now we're going to look for employment.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I guess we'll just head up that way and stop at a local tavern and just ask around exactly where we need to go, or I guess look around depending on how obvious it is where the caravan is. And then I know, yeah. See, I didn't write down the name of the warehouse. I just wrote warehouse wagons.
All right, I'm here.
What information did you write down about the employer, where Solomon was staying, where the wagons were being kept from the cultists? What do you have, Roz?
He said most of the wagons from our train were being kept in the North Ward, and they were being employed by the High Road Charter Company, by a person named Andred.
And did you have the tavern that Solomon was staying at?
Is this it? Is it Broof? God damn it!
Nope.
Colored pencil writing. Brufru.
So, the High Road Charter Company is the company that Andred works for. So, you all can go around and ask if you would like to go directly there to try to find its location. Otherwise, you can basically be at a tavern and try to basically investigate from a tavern's perspective what you might want to do. It's up to you all there.
I say we go straight there. Go straight to the High Road Charter Company to get hired.
good idea.
Yeah, I think he said if we had our weapons that we'd probably just get hired right away. So
Yeah, hired as guards and workers.
So do you want to... Well, yeah, you would have basically paid for your stay at that inn and taken your things. So you would also notice at some point walking through the districts that a few guards would start to follow you. So what are your thoughts as you are looking for the High Road Charter Company?
So we know it's in the North Ward.
yeah, I figured just stop at a bar and ask where it's at.
I was gonna say we should just ask the guards who are now following us.
Oh yeah, I guess if there's guards following us again, yeah.
How do you ask them, Tinus?
Tynus will go to the guards and say, "We're looking to find some work as guards for the High Road Charter Company. Do you know where that's located? We know it's in the North Ward somewhere."
They kind of like look to each other for a moment. As you actually walk back to them, like each of them you would see kind of rests his hand like on the pommel of the sword, like at his hip. And then they like kind of chat. I don't actually stay in the North Ward. Are you familiar with them? I believe the charter. I think they're right out from the North Ward's gate, so you might find them next to the North Gate. At very least, we can certainly head towards the gate and inquire from one of the guards who are there, but I believe they're out of a warehouse right next to the gate. And the other kind of like nods like, yeah, that sounds about right. I'm pretty sure that sounds right. Yeah, I think if we just head to the North Gate, we can ask one of the guards there.
Yeah, he'll tell the rest of the party that. They said if we head towards the North Gate, we'll be able to ask for more direct and directions there. I'd say we do it.
Yeah, sounds good to me. I believe he did say it was right near the North Gate, near a large warehouse where they keep the wagons, so that would make perfect sense.
Right? Let's just head up that way then.
So as you all are heading up along I think it's already switched over to the high road by that point. But as you are heading up through, yeah, it is, down the high road, you kind of pass by. A lot nicer homes are on the east side of the street as you are heading north. The North Ward is among the nicest of the districts. But you do still see plenty of signs of like slums sort of inside of the big blocks of housing in this general direction. But eventually you make your way to the North Gate. You see beyond it that there is an actual like field of slums even beyond. But inside of the actual North Ward, you would see a large grouping of a large grouping of homes, and it would kind of connect that perhaps the warehouses are outside, but it's up to you all to make a decision there.
And I just want to point out that I'm noticing there's something called Stench Alley. So people live there.
Well, like one of the things is those the field ward and then the ward that's actually outside of the south ward. Those two are essentially out of the main city. Those people who live in those places are like fifth class citizens. Like you're poor inside of the city, and that's a whole other level of poor is being stuck in the field ward.
Oof. Tent farm kind of place.
Yeah, essentially it's what is that, Skid Row?
Yikes.
It's literally like, yeah, I mean realistically it really is literally tent housing where people probably slowly built their homes over 20 or 30 years of slowly like brick by brick adding to like a tarpaulin until eventually they like basically threw grass over top. But what are your thoughts? Do you all want to ask at the initial gate still inside of the North Ward, or do you want to head through?
No, head through. I don't want to act obvious, and I also don't want to look too chummy with these guards that are following us.
I mean, can we see any warehouses?
No, like from where you're at inside of the actual Waterdeep proper, you're seeing homes, really nice homes, large homes, but nothing that would explicitly say warehouse to you.
So we keep walking until we see things that kind of look like a business district with warehouses.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna head through the gate and ask out there then.
So as you're walking through, you're basically waved through inside of this initial gate. There's some magistrates who are actually around that area. Leaving is never an actual problem. There's certainly a line queued up of people trying to enter into the city. You come through a few crossroads until eventually making it towards the north yard, where you see pretty massive setup, very similar to Baldur's Gate, and how the Fox Traveler was set up around a large yard where people seem to be kind of coming as internment workers trying to get jobs in short-term recruit. And among that, you see a few different places that could certainly be warehouses around this large yard. Probably 3 different warehouses.
Well, we're certainly in the right area. And looks like people are even searching for employment around here. This may be the place. And Tynus will proceed to the big city gate proper and try to ask for more information there.
And what are you asking?
Just for directions to the High Road Charter Company.
After kind of a few moments, tapping another guard who's nearby, they all seem kind of busy, checking people in from across the high road, looking through different luggage and whatnot. After a few moments, they kind of come back to you with one of the guards who seems to have been the third or fourth to really come in contact. And he eventually steps back, and I believe the charter company's warehouse is... I think that's them, just a little south here of you. Head on into that warehouse. I think they've got, I think they keep a secretary at that main door.
Excellent. Finally, we can start making some money. And he's gonna just head on off and relay the information to the party and start walking towards that warehouse.
Yeah, sounds good to me. High Road Charter Company potential.
Thoughts? Just walking in, knocking. You're gonna send the
Tynus
work in, knock down the door,
Tynus,
blow it up.
yeah, Tynus is gonna hang back and let the others sort of remind them that we're not all together. So he's gonna hang back, head down one of the other side streets while the others try to go and get employment separately.
I don't see any reason that we can't approach as a group of people that have run into each other with similar interests. Perhaps you and I, Vicious, can head in together.
Sure. I'm not going to be able to manage to do this secret thing, obviously. So I better hang out with at least one of you.
Sounds good to me. So I guess I'll just kind of open the door and kind of step in, see what I see, or attempt to open the door.
There's a little bell ring as you open the door, and you see a young gentleman sat down at a small little wooden desk, just kind of beside the actual doorway, and then a couple of stools sat along to the right of you.
Hello, friend. Looking for a little bit of work here. Is this the High Road Charter Company?
Oh yes, definitely. What sort of work do you fancy yourself qualified for?
He'll look over at Vicious and sort of pluck the bowstring that's over top of him.
Did you
and say,
tame that?
As tame as they can be. We work as a team.
I'll put my arm we're a team.
You said you put your arm around him?
Yeah, around his shoulder, we're a team, buds.
Yeah, you just cut out when you said that, so it went silent
sorry.
for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna put my arm around him we're buds because I work as a team and I'm not a pet and I'm not a mean person and I'm not actually gonna harm my employer.
That's some pretty cool magic that you've got there. So what do you all do? What kind of team are you?
Obviously, a couple of warriors. We heard that you're in need of some muscle along the trip. I'm not the strongest, but she makes up for it. And, she's not always the most intelligent, so I'd like to make up for that.
Excellent. So we do have a caravan that should be leaving. I believe they're set to leave tomorrow in the morning. They'll be heading up to the Roadhouse. Are you all familiar with the Mirror of Dead Men?
Yes, Roadhouse and the Mirror of Dead Men. I've heard a little bit about it.
All right, excellently. The less you know, the better for us. If you can just sign right here, get you some paperwork filled out, and we'll get you all set right on the, get you set for the next caravan out of here.
Out of curiosity, what's the duration and also the pay as well? And then is food and whatnot provided? What exact tasks are we just muscle?
Yeah, you would just basically be muscle. If anything happens to the caravan, any of our goods, we are rebuilding the road and we need you to die first.
Perfect. And I assume that we're licensed to kill, so to speak.
Well, like, there's no license, but if you kill... She, like, looks at the orc. Certain things that you kill, most people don't ever care if you kill. Just, like, staring at Vicious. So, on some way, yeah, you're licensed to kill, but just... Well, out on the frontier, most people don't ask questions, so stick it to the outside of the frontier and not here in Waterdeep.
Not
Oh,
killing
no.
anyone in Waterdeep. I got it.
Yeah, that's perfect. That sounds like it's exactly what we're looking for.
Excellent. And I believe once you get to the Roadhouse, I think they've got a fine cook. Yeah. Well, it's definitely food. And they'll keep you fed, because if you die, you can't work, and they need you to work. And let's see, I think right now, Andred has budgeted... I think they're paying a gold a day, for your time. Yep, sign right here.
Gold, 1 gold for each of us, right?
Yeah, 1 gold a day per body, per warm body.
Hold on there, Vicious. Can I do an insight check and make sure we're not getting ripped off?
You can do an insight check.
He never likes it when we bargain.
20.
You're rather sure by what he's getting at is they expect you to die up there so they don't have to pay you anything.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, and I'll give Vicious the nod.
So he's holding out like 2 different pieces of parchment that seem to have like a red line towards the bottom, and he's holding out like a quill on each piece of parchment.
Just do what I do, Vicious, and I'll sign it.
Oh, if
All
the
right.
wife doesn't know how to spell her letters, you can just put an X there.
I can spell.
That's impressive. Is that something that he taught you?
No, I knew it.
Very nice. You're something pretty special. So do you each sign?
Yeah.
Yeah, I sign.
As you sign, you see as the ink like applies in like a black color, and within like a few moments of kind of like watching as the ink sets into the parchment, it almost burns in a red like orange color before it turns into a very dry kind of gray. And you get a pretty solid sense that there is some sort of arcane contract in this actual contract.
It's a pretty neat trick.
Yep, just a solid way of understanding that if you don't do your job, you may find yourself not ever looking for a job again.
Sounds good, as long as our job is just to kill things and not die ourselves.
Well, I mean, we do kind of expect you to, like, fight to protect everything, so you may be doing some dying. There's some people die.
Oh yeah, that's perfect. Right up our alley.
Excellent. Well, glad to have you. So yeah, I think Andred's gonna be leaving. Yeah, it looks like they're all set. Looking for a few more people to head out with the caravan tomorrow, but otherwise I think everything looks set to be leaving tomorrow in the morning. If you all can just show up here just after sunrise and start to do the finishing parts of packing. Yep, looks like we'll be leaving here just before the noon, before the high sun.
Sounds good to me. Any questions there, Vicious?
Nope, we'll eat before we leave.
Asking questions after you sign the contract, that's funny.
All right, so I guess with that, we'll depart and just kind of linger around outside for a little while, wait on Tynus to do his thing.
Yeah, there's plenty going on outside there. Like I said, that's a pretty similar kind of bazaar setup as what you would have encountered on the south side, where it's like a makeshift market, as a lot of caravans coming from the north basically stop here to either sell their wares in bulk or sell their wares in a quick way. I think overall some people would kind of gather that sometimes somebody arrives broke and they have to sell stuff at a discount to be able to pay the taxes to get into the city, to be able to sell at an actual premium. So Tynus, as you see the two of them exiting, how do you go about your time at the high road?
Yeah, just like 5 minutes after they walk out, Tynus will go in as well, and he will walk up to the receptionist and he will say, "I'm looking for work."
Oh, good, good, good. What kind of work are you qualified for?
Mostly killing things and not letting things die. And he will gesture to his crossbow.
I'm gonna take a short break.
Okay. Well, that can certainly be useful. Yeah. So we're definitely looking for a few killers. Let me see your war face.
All right. Tynus will just like make a really angry face. Does he have fangs? If he has fangs, he's not gonna show those off. He's just gonna make a really intense face and
Let me have you do a performance check.
Yeah. Heck yeah, an 11.
You kind of like growl at him, and you see like this little like kid almost kind of like chuckles a little bit, and he's like, "Yeah, I definitely believe you've killed somebody before. You'll do great up there. You definitely won't end up dying." So yeah, if you want to join up, I believe we've got a caravan. Let me see here. Yep, looks like we've got a caravan that'll be leaving tomorrow. If you want to join up, you can just sign right here. We'll take you up to the Karnath Roadhouse. We do need anybody who can to guard the different caravans as well as the workers once you're there and do all the dying for us.
That's what I'm here for. He'll say he's still trying to sound tough, and he'll sign away.
So the same thing would happen as you sign it. The ink seems to, as it like sits into the parchment wet, it starts to glow like a reddish orange color. And as it dries into this gray color, you see it like chasing you signing the paper.
Can I do a Arcana check on that?
You most certainly can.
That's an 8. Yeah.
I feel like I'm about to sneeze, my bad.
I know the feeling.
Overall, that's enough that you can understand that there's some sort of a magic to this contract. But what in particular it's doing, it's not necessarily clear.
A magic contract. I understand your company's thinking. There's probably a lot of folks out there who are going to be dropping dead, huh? Trying to be tough.
People end up dying up there, and that's what you're going there for, to do the dying for us. We make a lot of money up there. It works out quite well.
All right. And how much money will I be making up there?
We pay a gold a day if you live.
That's what I like to hear. I'll be back in the morning. I love this. And he'll head out, still trying to be tough.
Yeah, I think the caravan's gonna be leaving just before the noon time, so make sure to be here just after sunup, do the finishing load up. We've got a lot of goods that have to be loaded into the wagons, and then I believe Andred's gonna be leaving just before the high sun.
Gonna do the cool guy finger crossbow at him and head out.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Oh, okay. You see as he like kind of dodges like low and to the right when you do the finger crossbow.
He's gonna chuckle and walk out the door, feeling strong. I love diluting tinus.
As you're leaving, you hear 3 more suckers, boss. And you hear like a big like clang of like gold kind of drop onto the desk.
Oh, can I get a quick glance over the shoulder at who that was?
You can do a perception check.
All right, that's an 11.
You see a pretty large bag of gold seem to be resting on his desk. But he's almost like looking back behind him into what appears to be a wall.
Oh, okay, that's worrisome. Making note of that. Tinus will head out, and after a couple seconds of wandering around, yeah, I forget it. He's gonna join up with the others.
Yeah, we'd just be like lingering somewhere nearby, drinking, gambling with each other.
He will join your gambling for a time.
Just being inconspicuous in general.
We're just vagabonds, you know. So what was the name of the roadhouse he said?
Carnath, Carnath, Carnath Roadhouse.